I have woken up. I was asleep for 5 weeks. I'm still asleep now. You can tell I'm asleep because you are all still here, ready to watch a fun stream. Hope you're ready. There's gonna be dinosaurs. When you dream of being a butterfly, how do you know that is not a glimpse of your real life? It's time for streaming. I'm Chris Vangelis Internet, and you don't know if I'm wearing pants or not. We go through this every now and then. It's a funny haha bit, but like, what if I stood up right now? Huh? What would you do about it? What if I got up? Huh? Are you afraid? Are you scared, kid? Are you starting to sweat a little bit there? You weren't thinking things were gonna get this real? Hang on, I'm too bright. I'm gonna see if I can darken me a little bit. That's bright as. Oh, hey! All I had to do was, wait, the focus one? I had to, like, tap one button. What's going on? That's wild. I'm kind of cool like this. I don't like it. It's too dark. That's too bright. I prefer too bright. It's better for developing retinas. Anyway, hi. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Brian and Apache Prime and Logos Minor and Flame War 05 and PT and Zugo and Slayer Shoop and Wint Da and Stardust Magician 24 and an army of bees and Mozotron And Zedro Zero. Hi, welcome. We got some stuff happening. I am in an undisclosed, blurred location. It's for your safety that they keep making me not quite sure where I am. I threaten everybody with. You know what, Stardust Magician 24? I am wearing socks. What do you think about that? Huh? Smarty? They're not my Extra Life socks. I wore those 2 days ago, and I went on a 4.5-hour walk in them, and they're not ripped up. I gotta learn how to repair socks, though, because I blew through a thin pair of socks in less than 3 months a little while ago. It doesn't happen constantly, but it happened, and I was like, this is wasteful. I also still don't know what darning means. So there's a whole lot of, like, sock science that I don't understand. And I have come to gain the acquaintance of some people who you might even refer to as sock experts. And I'm not taking advantage of those social links that I've been tending to and grafting and enhancing over time. The Vaseline dimension. I've never tasted Vaseline in my entire life. Hoping the volume's okay. The microphone ended up in a weird spot, and I don't know if it's bad, but we're just gonna roll with it. According to my meters, I am still able to very lightly lick the tip of the red if I get real loud, so it should be fine. Also, I got water. Because it's too humid today. And, I feel like I need to rehydrate a lot. I was out walking today again. I was out walking a lot 2 days ago. And I sweated out a whole lot of that wet that's in me. So I gotta do something about it. Yeah, it's like wet air, but you can taste it. It's air with mouthfeel. What was I gonna say? I did not manage to do a second stream while I was out west because I got too busy hanging out with my mom. Because my mom's cool and she's my friend. So you should all feel super jealous. Yeah, I only did the one stream. Although I was very pleasantly surprised to discover that my fresh MacBook and my current Apple phone could talk to each other instantly such that my phone became a mobile wireless camera for my MacBook. That may come in handy if I want to do some cook streaming at some point. In before, oh my god, Apple things, in before everyone who makes hardware is terrible anyway, so it doesn't matter anymore. Hope you're all ready for Windows 10 to cease existing on October 25th, 2025, as I was borderline threatened by my own tower computer the other day. Mosatron says if I could be if I could, I'd be hibernating in my basement because it's been a scorcher today. Yeah, today it wasn't like blazing out, it was just hot and thick. It was like 27 Celsius and thick ass air. Real, like, everyone gets to be sweaty. I'm sweating all the time, but everyone got to be sweaty today, and I was like, welcome to the sweatshop, kids. Brian, you haven't done cook streaming in years. That's why it's almost time again. The problem is that I have a crummy kitchen in this apartment, so if I do cooking streaming, I can't do anything with lots of smoke because there's no ventilation in the kitchen, and B, a cockroach might just walk by in the background, and y'all gotta be okay with that. Because it's not about whether or not I'm keeping the cockroaches out, it's about whether or not the 9 apartments in a border around me are keeping the cockroaches out. So, you know, if y'all might get freaked out by that, then, like, you know, I gotta figure out some kind of solution. Then again, it could be funny. I haven't seen one in a while. Till the other day, a shiny one came out. A little bit bigger than a baby, so, you know, about that big. It just walked out behind my sink, lights on, I'm in the middle of doing something, walked right onto my cutting board and just looked at me, and then went and was like freaking challenging me while I was steeping my tea. And then I got some neurotoxin out and tried to blast it. Then it moved. Until I took the neurotoxin out, the thing didn't care. It was practically daring me to fist fight it. I don't like that. So anyway, I called the building. They're gonna gel the place next week. Doesn't that mean they just shed their exoskeleton? Most likely. It looked like it was very, yeah, fresh. It looked like it was a fresh, stupid one. JT Elm, they have cockroaches in Canada, rip. I don't know what to tell you about cities. I wish I had some neurotoxin to wipe stuff. You gotta buy some neurotoxin. Actually, I'm running out of neurotoxin. I used up my neurotoxin on the goddamn bed bugs. So I gotta get more neurotoxin. Yeah, I got the 1 in 5,126 odds to see a shiny cockroach, and then it ran before I could capture it. I could have probably just punched it with a shoe, but, like, I'm still squeamish about mashed cockroach guts. That still makes me pukey, so I'm always trying to, like, neurotoxin them, which is, like, it is sort of horrendous in its own way, because, you know, you're violently, toxically shutting down their entire neurological motor system, and it sort of is gross in its own way, but I find it less gross. Oh my god, I'm on fire. I'm in an apartment in a large city, and that's basically it. The bedbugs thing was last summer. I went on about it on a stream, I think, somewhere. It's all done now. I haven't seen them in a while, and if I do, I know how they die now. I have a steam cannon, and the ones that were here, I liquefied them, I liquefied their children, and I liquefied their unborn. The bedbugs. So I haven't seen them since. I might have seen, like, one wandering looking for a place to live at some point a month or two ago, but it's not here anymore. Anyway, bedbugs aren't as scary as they sound. 80% of the frightening factor of bedbugs is the way people talk about them. They certainly are annoying, but they are not as bad as they sound. No bedbugs in Southeast Asia. I would like another 100 Southeast Asian residents to confirm that for me. Because I live in a large metropolitan downtown, and I didn't see any for a decade. But they're still around. That's the thing, is generally, insects exist. And it's more about, like, are you attracting them, or are you, if you're in my position, are you simply a transit point? And then do you make your transit point really unpleasant for them so that they rarely are around? I haven't seen any cockroaches en masse in a couple of years. I had a bad bunch of them show up a few years back, pre-lockdowns. Wow, that would be over 5 years ago, I just realized. Anyway, they died. So, we're gonna crack open some toy. Don't you have a flamethrower in your apartment? No, the homeowners get flamethrowers. Apartment people, we only get steam guns. Flame War 05. Fun fact, female bedbugs don't have genitalia, so the males have to make their own hole to impregnate them. Yeah, like bedbugs are, you sort of gotta feel a little bad for them until the part where they're unreasonable. Cause bedbugs, right, they don't skitter. They plod, they don't run, they don't jump, they just plod along. They're hard to crush, but they die in heat easily. They die to peripherin or peripherin neurotoxin easily. If they walk through diatomaceous earth, they literally shred their own faces off while they groom themselves. They die in 3 separate, real, straightforward ways. It's just the part where they purely exist to detect our CO2 emissions and drink our blood. That's the part that's, like, really unreasonable, given that they are not open to dialogue. Now, if the bedbugs were open to dialogue, I don't even notice them feeding on me. So, if they need some blood, then we can have an exchange of services. I will upkeep, I will sustain a small family, provided that family keeps an active squad of, say, 45, who live on rations, and when I go out, they chill out in, like, a special little house, little portable, inside my upper sleeve, and then if someone fools with me, I raise my arm and I say, feed, and then the 45 bedbugs, which are trained so they can do this, rush out and exsanguinate whoever has fooled with me. Then we'd have an arrangement. Then we would have discussion, we would have give and take, we would have quid pro quo. and we would be civil, you know. But instead, it's uncivil. It's making a billion children living in cracks in a bed frame near my head, and what happens to them? They get liquefied with steam. And whose fault is that? Not mine. I've never seen Naruto in my life. Ransom Fern, Southeast Asian here. We totally do have bed bugs. I had a feeling someone would say something. Anyway, it's a thing. I read some articles. It's more and more likely to be just a normal thing that one deals with as time goes on. So just learn how they die, and you got it. Much like with all things in life, learn how they die, and then you can handle it. Yeah, they turned me into the Joker for a week. It was terrible. Anyway, what are we doing today? We're cracking. So, I don't know if you saw the description to this stream. This thing came in, like when I still had a week left out west, and then I picked it up, and this thing stayed with me for another week, just for you. Isn't Toronto a very dog water city? Super Smash Gamer, it is one of the nicer cities, as long as you take care of yourself and live well, like with many other cities. The myth of the worst city is generally just people who either don't live in a city, or people who live unhappily in a city, is my experience. Most cities end up just being a place to live, in my viewpoint. If you go on the Toronto Reddit, you'll find lots of people who think that they're going to die if they go on the subway after dusk in Toronto, which is hilarious. Slayer's Shoop, it was more than a week. I don't know, maybe 10 days. This wasn't meant for people to start dogging on other cities. But I know in the States, y'all have, like, different city and state beefs, and I don't really, culturally, I don't really understand them, so, you know, I generally go hands off on that. But anyway, this has been with me for a little while. So we're gonna, he is literally the whole frame. You can't pretend. Okay, well, ideally you all understand what that was. So let me switch over to here. And we're doing the tall boy. We're doing the tall boy. I didn't bring out a thing to cut tape. That's on me. It's fine. I'll use this metal back scratcher keychain. It worked. My understanding is this guy's packaged in like a pseudo-tantric form of his robot mode. So, you know, spoilers. TLK, can't wait to see you at TFCon in a month. I'll be there all weekend. Hell yeah, so will I. TFCon Toronto coming up fast. I submitted some panels. Don't know if they'll get done, but I submitted some. He's big! Okay, I gotta put this box over here. Super Smash Gamer, I live in Vaughan, so I live pretty close to Mississauga. I know how Vaughan's pronounced. I just like using two syllables. I think it's funnier. Yeah, generally, well, okay, most of my interactions with people from the outskirt cities were with Hamiltonians, and Hamiltonians don't get to talk anymore. See, we got mega city beefs. Unless everyone's forgotten about the mega city at this point. I still remember mega city. Oh, thank you, TLK. Like I said, I don't know that my panels will get approved necessarily, but I submitted two. Aaron's not here, is he? I submitted one that Aaron's a part of, and I didn't tell him, and I figure, like, whatever. If it doesn't get picked up, I'll just never tell him until we're at the show. But if the panel does get picked up, I'll never tell him till we're at the show. What? Some of these are so... Oh, okay, it's slip knotted that way. I get it. Mega City Beef was my favorite restaurant in downtown Toronto. Well, wait till I take you to Paramount Fine Foods. If y'all follow me on Blue Sky, I posted a photo of a giant lineup because we got a new Shake Shack in town. It was a hot, humid day out today, and people were queuing. People were queuing for Shake Shack. I don't get it. Dundas Square, you are in spitting distance of so many local eateries that are so affordable and good. And then it's like, but Shake Shack got balloons outside. Chris Muse, I love Mr. Tonkatsu. I love Mr. Tonkatsu! TLK, I've heard of Paramount before. It's a Middle Eastern place, so Lebanese and other Middle Eastern cuisines. I think primarily Lebanese. So lots of freshly made flatbreads. Often those flatbreads have meat and or cheese on them. Usually I find that description is enough to get people interested. But you get yourself a nice beef manakish, get some labneh and flatbread, and you're just having, like, a good old time. I don't know what all is actually still locked. Look at this guy. This guy's all twisted up in here. So what twist ties? Okay, fist ones. I see. Yeah, like, they were hyping the Shake Shack for a while, so, like, I kind of understand people going, like, it's the new thing, but any of them who weren't, like, Instagram influencers, I'm kind of questioning. Chris Muse, you get the pork tenderloin. I don't go to Mr. Tonkatsu super often, because there isn't one super near me, and Tokyo Kitchen is closer, but when I do go there, I do often get the pork tenderloin. I just had one recently, actually, in the last week. Adam Billmu, a list of recommended destinations would be aces. Dog, I got so many. It depends on how downtown you are, though. All of my destinations are downtown. If you're at the TFCon Hotel, you are not downtown. In fact, you're technically not really in Toronto. You're more in Mississauga. So, unless you are able to get downtown, I've gone through the guilt experience of giving people tons of recommendations, and then they were like, I can't walk there from the hotel, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, TFCon Hotel is all about, like, you can get Meltwitch Uber Eats to you. Meltwitch is sort of local to where TFCon Hotel is, and that place is solid. Meltwitch, it's very, you know, salty grill grease stuff, but good salty grill grease stuff. It's been a go-to for a couple of us when we just want to get something without going out. Yeah, Adam Billmu, you were probably there for some Meltwitch. No, you were there when Aaron got some. That was like the first or second day that we got some, I think. I missed a whole bunch. What was the ungodly Canadian? Yeah, someone else got that, right? Yeah, 135. Minus 10%, because I still have a functioning GameStop Platinum membership for another 28 days. So, go me. Yeah, okay, Chick-fil-A is overrated. Hell yes, it is overrated. Chick-fil-A was the last time I saw people queue up for American fast food downtown. Right next to a whole bunch of really good Korean and Chinese fried chicken places. And they were like, it's time for Chick-fil-A. And it's like, dog. Sure. Get it out of your system, I guess. Like, the Chick-fil-A big location in Toronto, there is no excuse. I have had arguments with acquaintances before who are like, do you want to go there? And I'm like, I could list you 12 other places in the same walking distance we could go to. And then they're like, why are you so aggro? And it's because I don't want to eat that stuff. I want to eat stuff I like more. Hang on, I dropped an effect part. I got it. I used my prehensile tail. This is a whole lot of non-branded Kleenex, so slight disappointment here. I mean, if anyone's ever curious about Chick-fil-A, I never had it, but my understanding is you fry some chicken with lots of garlic powder and brine the chicken in pickle juice first, and then if you made it at home, you've made better stuff. If you had it from a fast food place, then you had, like, edible fast food. That's the thing. It's still fast food. There's a ceiling. I know folks sometimes don't like to hear that, but I'm gonna say it. There is a ceiling on how good fast food can taste. And so I do, in fact, get a little judgy sometimes when there are a lot of really good, just as the same price, local places. And then folks are like, let's get fast food. And I'm kind of like, uh-huh. I folded this thing out of his leg. I am assuming this piston locks into this thing that looks like it's pistons. It looks like that was, in fact, the case. Oh boy, I missed a bunch of chat I don't want to miss. There is a Hakka Chinese place near the hotel. It's fantastic. That's right, Slayer Shoop. I forgot about that place. TLK, maybe I'll get melted. Yeah, if you're gonna Uber Eats or, you know, whatever, rideshare delivery food into the hotel, definitely consider Melt Witch if, you know, Greasy Grill is your thing. Logos Minor. Quest Bar is always pretty good, too. I can never remember how cheap the con menu is, though. Quest Bar can be variable. Some years it's good, some years it's not. It really depends on the kitchen staff, and they may change from year to year. I would recommend getting a share plate and doing that as, like, a tester to see how Quest Bar is doing this year, if you're going to do Quest Bar. How meaty is the Dino guy? Corito Prime? It's pretty thick. Listen to... Oh! Big boy, make click. Make clicky click. I like it. Even the elbows! Anyway. Popeyes is better, LMAO. In Toronto, Popeyes is variable, but there is at least one really good Popeyes because they're franchised. So it really depends on the staff. One of the best Popeyes in town, right over there, down the road from me. Trust. Adam Bilmu, it's salty and pickle juice and anti-gay. Yeah, that's the other part about Chick-fil-A that kind of sucks. That's why Chick-fil-A is a very, like, layered conversation, because it's like, if we're really going to make it about, like, I just want to have some fried chicken, even then, it's kind of like, especially in Toronto, pardon me to food snob a little bit, you can get, even if you want junk fried chicken, you can get better junk fried chicken down the street. Because guess what's down the street from the big Chick-fil-A? The best Popeyes in town? Anyway. Be mindful folding those back up. Joints are stiff, can be a pain to pull out if you get the order wrong on the feet. Good to know. Have you ever played Metroid? I've played some Metroids. I actually can't remember if I played the original. No, I played the Game Boy Advance remake of the original. Oh, this, like, locks in here. That's freaking cool. I didn't notice that this had, like, a slot down here. That's neat. What's whipping around back here? This poor guy is, like, packaged in this... He's already a complicated giant transformer, and then he's packaged in a half form to fit in the box. And I'm like, man... I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna look and see what they do here. Adam Vilmu, 2022 Quest Bar was pretty good. I recall it was not bad in 22. I don't remember what it was like in 23. How about Freddy's? That's a good fast food place. It's got good custard. They got animatronics. Boy, that's a dated reference now. What a weird world we live in. Miss anything else? The captions properly capitalized Game Boy Advance. Oh, look, they did. Did you see Blockies put Tarn in their upcoming wave? Yes, but more importantly, their upcoming wave put in the last two Constructicons. I really want the Blockies Constructicons, because the individual robot mode Constructicons do something to me. And when they only had 4 of them, I was able to go like, oh, well, they might never finish. And then they were like, hey, idiot. We finished. And it's like, well, here we go. Aaron, you're here for the danger. The danger is he. I don't remember if you have one or not. So, Aaron, here for you. Did that for you. What am I supposed to do with some... I'm trying to... So he's packaged in a tantric pseudo-robot mode. So I'm now trying to figure out what the hell the rest of his robot mode's supposed to look like. Alright, so this says to fold something down. Fold this down? Huh? Oh, I see. So these things fold up. And then those big tabs go in those big slots. Oh, that's solid. Hang on, we're going to move this up a bit. That's solid. You're going to see yourselves. Try to be mature about this. Oh, yeah, Aaron, we're talking about Meltwitch. I was telling people if they want to eat in the hotel and they're willing to do rideshare delivery, Meltwitch is probably it. Agree, disagree? I suspect you agree, because that's all we got with rideshare delivery. Okay, now I load the funny little guy up over here. And then he's got his little peg mounting. All the joints are bent the wrong way. Elder Millennial Life quote, all the joints are bent the wrong way. Okay, there's probably an actual way I'm supposed to do this. I just wanted to make it happen. There we go. Look at that. Gold medal sighting is true. I keep it in the bag so it doesn't get grimy with them dust. Sideswipe Prime! I want to get him, but I have Armada Prime on pre-order. That's legit. That's... One commander is a lot. I think it is a lot to have to deal with, like, oh, maybe I have to order 2 commanders. It's like that... Like, that's why I don't have Studio Series 86 Magnus. Because I was like, I can't swing another commander all of a sudden. And then he up and vanished from the planet afterwards. So I was like, well, there we go. Is that a fundraising gold medal? Yeah, Extra Life. I hit a new high last year. Did you win it with a broken freaking neck? That's right, that's me. Check out our team page. This is not necessarily an Extra Life stream, but also I don't care if you want to donate, go for it. I have really run into the streamer's problem. I want to keep doing Elden Ring. I want to keep doing retro news dives with Aaron. I want to keep doing Extra Life milestone catch-ups, and I don't know where to fit it all in. I've run into the streamer's problem. I always knew there was a risk because basically here's my problem. If you want to know my actual problem, the issue with me is I enjoy this too much. So, I never find streaming to be like, you know, man, gotta do a stream. I never feel that way. So, I have to be careful because it's easy for me to go like, I'll just stream 3 times this week. And it'll be like 3 streams that are each like 4 to 6 hours and then I'll die afterwards. So, I gotta be careful. TLK, I got 3 commanders last year: Armada Op, Earthrise Skylinks, and then found Legacy Motormaster for measly. Yeah, I mean, if you found Motormaster for $60, then you bought a leader class. Technically speaking, then you bought a leader class. So you're all good. I need to have that VTuber arc. I'm just a flesh and blood VTuber. I invented VTubing before they invented it. Because it was me doing it. Ergo, I called it VTubing. I remember when VTubing first appeared, and I was like, I literally, for a solid 30 seconds, I was like, is someone stealing my shtick? Is someone stealing my stick? Because I didn't know what it was, and I was just, at that point, I was really getting into putting V on the front of things as a bit, and I was like, are they stealing my bit? Is Japan stealing my bit? Okay, so this is really funny, because here is the Magmatron iconic sword, right? And then they give you, because he's a commander class, I forgot about this till I picked them up. They give you the commander class stack of effect parts, right? These ones maybe are a little bit new, or they just work the same. Anyway, they tell you just line them all up. Just line them all up like this. If you want the powered up sword, take the sword out, stick this in, stick the sword in. Now that sword's bigger! And I'm like, that's really funny. But this is the Fans Toys Galvatron problem, where you built a stick out of things that are all kind of flexible. And it's, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna... This is a whip. It's got wiggles. Mimicry says they're Omega Supremes again. Okay, I always forget, like, because there's Omega Supremes... and there's Jetfires are like the two major sets, right? Because Jetfires are similar arrangements, but they're pointier, they're less lumpy. Whip. I'm gonna put the sword back on. Anyway, for those who are wondering, all of this is gummy plastic, even the sword. However, the sword is gummy clear plastic, in case you were curious. I know there have been concerns, because also, like, the head wings have got some of that. Oh, hang on. The head wings have got some of that going on. I was talking to the folks at Cherry Bomb Toys about this a little bit. I know we're all afraid of plasticizer leakage. However, some people may not have seen it. The doll community did actually share some information. If you are worried about plasticizer leakage, what you gotta do, and this is some upkeep, check your toy every now and then, every month or two, and see if it's sweating. And if it's sweating, get out a paper towel and dab up that sweat. Get it out of there, because that's plasticizer sweating out of the plastic. According to the doll people, eventually it'll stop sweating, and then you're fine. So that's it. It's just, so the reason why things like bludgeon happen, for instance, well, the reason why it happened to the community, not in the production of the toy, is that I believe a lot of us simply had no idea. What is plasticizer leakage, says JT Elm. So, this has now afflicted a few Transformers in history, but when you make plastic in a toy, and it is rubbery like this, it's got flex to it, that durometer is achieved by adding an amount of plasticizer to the plastic, which makes it soft. Now, I'm using a lot of layman terms, because I am a literal layman, so don't come after me for this. Basically, if the plasticizer mix is not right there, it's not uncommon for plasticizer to kind of sweat out of the soft plastic and into the hard plastic. One of the original instances of this was documented by Keshi collectors, because basically they had a bunch of Keishigomu, a bunch of muscle men, in a box with a bunch of sofubi, soft vinyls, and the plasticizer from the muscle men over decades, leaked into the vinyl of the soft bees and disintegrated the soft bees. In Transformers decoys sweat plasticizer, because they're Keishigomus, they're like little, Keshis. So, someone once shared the anecdote. They had G1 Omega Supreme set up in base mode with the circle ramp, right? And they had some decoys standing on the circle ramp for like 10 years. When they removed the decoys, there were footprints melted into Omega Supreme's circle ramp. So, basically, the soft plastic does not break, but it will sweat plasticizer into hard plastics if there's prolonged contact, and it's a certain, wrong mix, and then the hard plastic will begin to crack because it is getting made soft, but not in the way that results in this. It's being made soft wrong and unintentionally. Aaron's also got some of this, but it's again one of those things. It's good to know, because it's better to at least have an idea why a thing happens than to just be subject to it and get mad, in my opinion. And the ratios being off is not something that's necessarily like, oh, what a badly made piece. The ratios can also just be off, and that can just happen. So you gotta look at it, you know. Strat is strong. It's been made soft. That's what she said, lol. True. What do I do with this funny thing here? Remember when that was an action feature? When this was a country? Oh, it has a flip-up bit. Okay. And then we stick this on the where? Oh, back here. Oh, there's even little ridges for the clips to clip onto. That's so nice. His ears are hella in the way. Excuse me. Oh, that feels good going on. That feels good going on there. Whoop. Put his sword together. JTL, is this related to the fear about effect parts causing issues when left in toys for long periods of time? Yes! It is in fact precisely that, because that happened to a 5mm port. If I recall correctly, one of the very first things that made everyone think about this even more in recent memory was that happening with an effect part that was left in a port for like a 1.5 to 2 years, and then the port kind of disintegrated when the part was pulled back out. How is articulation in that arm? Oh, let me tell you. It's all good. Everything's ratcheted. Everything's double jointed. I saw this described as strictly better Magmatron, and at first blush, I feel that that's probably an accurate description. This is basically like, what if Magmatron was better, the toy, and then it's a better Magmatron? I'm not sure if there is a way to get a waist swivel out of... Oh, there we go, kind of. What's attached? The tail's attached. So what's it bumping? It's bumping that. Okay, he's got to live with that. So it's a limited waist joint. I say limited, he just escaped. Okay, it's not a limited waist joint. It's fine. But he's got very Beast Wars Megatron legs. Did you hear that? How is wrist? Wrist is able to do that. Oh, it's got this too. This wrist, I think, is the same. Yeah. It's open. Oh, no. Streaky hair on my forehead. Yay, wrists! Can he dab? It's, this is the worst way for me to show it, but yes. See? And for those, I assume most of you already know this part, but the other big win of this toy, right? Imagine if Magmatron could look left and right. Ever. Imagine if Magmatron could see. See, no, actually I can't. Well, you know, the original Magmatron, I believe, maybe correct me if I'm misremembering, but one of the biggest bummers about original Magmatron is due to how the combination worked and that it was older toy tech. There was no neck joint for the robot mode because the bird, as you can kind of see here, integrates down into the chest. That's right, Magmatron. Magmatron can now safely cross the street. I gotta know, Akan Lord says, should his weapon be called the Spinous Sword or the Verteblade, being the sword is a spine and the blade made of vertebrae? I think it kind of depends how he's feeling. He can kind of see what's to his left, but not his right because of the dino head. Well, no, because you see, when he's looking over, if he has to see what's over here, he's got a whole ass dinosaur head to see what's over there, and he's got this whole ass dinosaur head to kind of see what's over here. So, you know, he's all good. Yeah, I like Verteblade myself. I just like V words. You know, that's just me. I gotta get these effect parts out of here because they keep making me think that there's more robot that fell off. In this version, the sword comes out of the tail. I think the final attack should be called Getting Some Tail. Yeah, that's legit. Alright, am I missing any other funny robot mode things? I don't think so. I think I got all the funny robot mode things. I'm just gonna try to turn these into dinosaurs. Let's go on a journey. The hipsters keep the arms from resting at his side naturally, says Red Snarl. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I would say, I don't disagree, but I would also say it doesn't bother me too much because he looks so ridiculously heavily armored. It's kind of like the vibe of, like, you know, a juggernaut from Call of Duty, you know, a dude in just massive SWAT armor. It's not too bad. I can get it down to here. To me, this is more or less relaxed arm stance. I never really go to the in like that. That always feels a little bit stiffer to me. When he's holding his stuff, I think it's actually harder to do this, though. Are the feet all the way robot mode footed? Yeah, I think you got here afterwards, but it was about a minute till I noticed the tab. Unless there's like an extra heel piece? Or is that for the robot mode? Does he need that? I mean, who cares? More heel is more heel. Timu Canadian, the feet are packaged in... He's packaged in just like a kinda mode. He's in robot mode, but with all the back stuff undone to be flatter. It is for the bot mode. Okay. Yeah, okay, I got the extra little toelets out there. Since I got him here, hang on, let me readjust the camera positions, because I'm having to, like, turn stuff a lot. Let's go on an adventure. Right, okay. I'm having to, like, do righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but, like, while not looking at things in a normal, planar way, and it's complex. Okay, this might be more... These big toys always make this a lot more complicated. One thing I did do, though, whenever I get this all settled and situated, is I got a little menu window open preemptively. So that once we know where we are... Wait, let me move this back a bit. Part of my folly was when I set up the camera positions, I did it using Studio Series 86 Brawn. Because I didn't think this would be that... I mean, I didn't think he'd be the same size as Brawn, but I did all my tests with him. And now that I'm kind of looking at them next to each other... Perhaps this guy's a little bit bigger. Get this down here. All right. He still has a lot of just like stuff sticking off back too, so he's bumping into this. But the focus still looks good, so I don't need to tweak anything. I got the focus menu perma open right now so I can access it quicker if necessary. To be fair, brawn can get tall too. Correct. You can do biblical brawn if you want. Now he's up there. Now that he's got the brawn legs. He's deployed father's legs. That toy guy coming in with a cheese pizza! Y'all should check out Toy Guy's new video of a Star Wars Transformer. They put out, I didn't know this, they put out a Black Series Droideka, and they engineered a bunch of extra moving parts to give the impression it can turn into a ball, and they didn't give any instructions, and it doesn't turn into a ball. It turns into a lump. Anyway, you should check that video out. All right, I'm gonna set about doing the things. I'm gonna undo the things I did when he came out of the package. That surely is how we start. Surely. How's this mounted? JTL, that tracks for Black Series. Apparently that Droideka costs as much as a Voyager? Which also kind of made me go like, huh? But they are kind of thick, right? Like, they don't just fit into a Black Series box. What on earth am I doing? There's X64, the Droideka CGI model cheats. It totally does, but having built some Droidekas and painted them for Star Wars Legion, where you get both modes, and assembling the ball mode, I still think there's a logical through line that could be followed on a toy. I still think there is. Because, yeah, the Droidekas, obviously, they cheat. Like, you can't just have a perfect transformation Droideka at Voyager price. But they're so curvy. I was astonished at how the legs looked for the ball mode. I was like, that don't even look round. It's like the top half of a ball and the bottom half of a brick put together like that. I'm not going to say I'm asking for hints, but where the hell do you start? Oh, okay. Oh, mimicry, the thing. Yeah, I can't do anything about the YouTube bot. I set it to be as like somewhere in between, like, don't be crazy, but also catch slurs. And then it's, you know. Ah, okay. Here we go. Open the jacket, as they say. And then we get this little guy out. Now, here's the other Magmatron question I always forget. What parts aren't the purple one? Because that's part of that, right? Aha! There we go. Alright, so now we got this whole funny thing. And then this funny thing is going to merge with this funny thing. So we'll do this one first. You know, in 1999, adjust my glasses, if you just walked up to a Beast Wars Neo Magmatron and went like, I think he was out in 99, and went like, I'll just figure this out, you were asking for it. Wait, let's go down. Let's go down. Let's go here. This is a bit easier. Okay, so I already forgot if this was something that flipped out that I flipped in. So I'm just going to try flipping it out. That's interesting. So there's like an angled slot for this, so it's not like perpendicular. I'm not gonna say you're digging into stupid fiddly part territory, but hey, maybe. Okay, that's a Dino Centipede part. Okay, I caught that. That is still kind of neat though that this like sits at an angle. I don't know, there's something about that I think is kind of neato. I'm gonna open this up so I can see what we're mounting together. Okay, so it's just the bottom hunk. I wasn't born in 1989, but I can imagine how frustrated people were with Beast Wars Neo engineering. It was very, how do you put this? It was a discourse at the turn of the century, because it was some of the most articulation seen in Transformers. And then stuff like Beast Wars Neo was like pushing that to a limit of like, how far can we go before these toys also become ridiculous, basically. And I always felt like it was... I feel like there's an interview somewhere. I tried to find it recently, and I couldn't find the exact quote. The designer of Speedbreaker, a.k.a. Sideburn, like, has some... or had, at some point, said Sideburn represented, like, a very immature version of his progress as a professional. So, like, Sideburn was kind of, like, you know, so ridiculously complex to the point that, like, the designer was like, yeah, that one was a bit too much. That one was a bit bonkers. Yeah, the super cool Gutai Dino mode parts are making this, like, way harder, because I don't know what goes with what. There are multiple tab slots for the folding arms. No, that's a helpful clue. I think I see one. I thought I saw one. I saw nothing. This mess, get into the smallest shape possible. Thank you. I need to brush up on my Mesozoic megafauna knowledge. Listen, I've never met a Mesozoic megafauna that I wouldn't have a conversation with. But, like, I want to go home to my house afterwards, you know? I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what that means. But, you know, someone will figure that out. Two per arm and shoulder. Good lord. Well, I locked some stuff together over here. Do you want some unhelpful advice? Hell yeah. There's a series of small tabs that will show you how they... Because I saw this tab. Oh! It has a slot there. I got distracted by the little slots that are down here, and I thought the hands had to go in those. Yeah, it's design! So is there one of those back here? Ah! Ha 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 ha! Look at you trying to hide from me. Not with my helpful folks who hang out during live streams. No slot can hide from a single tab on my watch. TLK, I have not looked at the instructions because for the just as a fun streamy thing, I want to see if I can figure out the the individual dino modes. For the gut-tied dinosaur, I am going to go straight to the instructions, because that will never make sense to me. Bottom of the shoulders. Yeah, I thought I tabbed them in down here. Or are you talking about the shoulder? The black parts are gut-tie parts. Okay. That is, if I am folding out a gut-tie part, just tell me, because looking at this, ain't no way I can tell the difference. The shoulder? Really? Oh, I see down there. I think I have that on the other one already inadvertently. But yeah, there's a little tab in there. It's now in. The Megasaurus is more straightforward than this Dino mode. It's why I went to this one first, because classically the fish one is harder. Did I just say that to skip remembering dinosaur names? Yes. But also, that's what I remember, is the fish one is harder. A tab came out. The tab went back in. Yeah, the fish one. You know, the fish dinosaur. Necky boy. That's right. Sideswipe Prime, I was clued in to what is a gut-tie part, and I think I got the arms more or less into their way. What I'm kind of hoping for... Okay, so we still fold this up. What I'm hoping for is that this is going to have some natural guiding tab loveliness, and I'm feeling it. Yeah, that was... I haven't transformed to Beast Wars Neo Magmatron in a while, but I remember getting all this to line up sucked. And on this one, I was hoping that the modern Transformers thing I really like, that I think it's a little bit undersold nowadays by the fandom, is that a lot of tab slot stuff, when it's big, is kind of... You can just kind of go like... Yeah! And then most of the tabs will just find their way in, compared to yonder olden days. Oh, that's satisfying. Now let's see if he can float. He can, as long as I'm holding him up like this. This is still too big for me to hold up for the camera, so I'm going to put him over here. He's so hyped to see y'all. Alright, next I'm going to do whatever this one is, the bird. First do fish, then do bird. Hey there, Dynamo Dave 2K2. 2002. TLK, now I want to reorder this toy. I'm a prehistory nut, so Magmatron's perfect for my taste. Yeah, there's... Sometimes current Transformers hit it on some... When they aren't the 1980s Dinobots, there's some... I am told, at least, there's some really cool stuff Transformers does as far as dinosaurs are concerned. This was a million times easier than that last one. He's just fold the thing up. Oh, did they call this a Quetzalcoatlus? Really? That's funny. I want to believe that's the result of some argument someone had, and that, like, someone's getting back at someone. There was some fight somewhere. Like, now he's happy to see you, too. Actually, kind of articulated legs on Skysaur. You know, Skysaurus, who hangs out with Seasaurus. Let's go to Landsaurus. I thought Quetzalcoatluses were, like, more frilled or something. Maybe I'm, like, just too coded by, like, anime. Archer Monster is back as we're forming 3 dinosaurs out of 1 guy. Always good to see ya. I would love to see the current like I just call it design mind. I would love to see them do a take on Big Convoy because the modernization of Magmatron here has felt lovely. Current design brain, I think, could do some... Oh, wow, look at that! Current design brain, I think, could do some really cool stuff to, like, streamline Big Convoy while keeping the chunk and also making him bigger. Isn't there a tease for Big Convoy in his box? You can never, like, totally take that as teases because also, like... I didn't look. I don't know what it looks like, but... If there's box art being done... Probably gonna put Big Convoy on it, right? So can I get these back out this way? Yes. Don't miss the toe knives, foot fillers. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice. Yeah, he's got little, like, robot things so that he's not just Beast Wars Megatron down there. Oh, wait, does this have to go in first? Hood. Ow. Where's my thing? Oh, it's getting precarious over here. 401 Games had a big sale, so I have some Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures that I got for $5 a box. That sale didn't last very long. And they've just been living on the side of my desk this whole time. It's usually like $45 for these two, but they were selling them for $5 during a May Madness sale, and I was like, well, I'll buy some minis. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I gotta get this open again. That was tight. It was wreaking havoc on my fingernail. Talking about Big Convoy in the West sounds so Toku fandom. The West does not deserve Big Convoy. How are you supposed to get the... Is this the part y'all were telling me about where it's hard to get them back out if you do something not quite the right way? I don't see how you could get these out without a prizing tool. Unless I'm missing, like, a big, simple pull tab. Oh, Mimicry says that's the bit. Like, what is my hypothetical titanium fingernail supposed to hook onto in here? Big Convoy says the West does not deserve Big Convoy. There we go. Well, small bit of awareness for your Magmatrons. Make sure that you got a spudger. Like, surely that folds in. I think it's just tight. Because I would have thought there would have been something out here that I could sink my finger meat into, but there ain't. Ooh, alright. Where's that sword? I know it was cued in that the sword is a part of this. Oh, and this whole hunk. I forgot about this. Hot dang, how does some of this move? Duh. I'm not sure what's supposed to go first. Oh, there's a big tab in there. Okay. A spudger is just one of these. It's a simple prizing tool that's unabrasive and flexible, but still kind of stiff. It's just nice to have for toys where, like, sometimes some parts can be very stiff with seam lines. You can get them at, like, PC repair shops. Trent Salamander, I try not to spudge in public. That's a courage thing. In my town, we spudge on the street every night. Wednesday nights only. It's time for another Wednesday night spudging. Zinman 2. Any thoughts on the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class G1 Universe Optimus Prime? Well, first, thanks for saying the whole name. I think it looks really cool. I think it is everything I still want from Missing Link, with a lot of the things that it turns out I don't really care about stripped out. So it's kind of perfectly made for me. I'm pretty hyped to pick one up. I think Missing Link is great. It's just I handled Toy Guy's Missing Link at TFCon LA and found that it made me not want to spend the money on one afterwards, and not because it's a bad toy. Just it does a whole lot of cool things, and then it has a bunch of other stuff that it turns out I personally just didn't really care about. So yeah, it was nice for helping me figure out, like, hey, I don't need to, like, rush to try to pick this thing up. I like to pick one up sometime maybe, but I don't like Missing Link enough to pay the full price for it. Erwin Papa, what did you not care about from Missing Link? It's nothing, like, really standout. It's just, like, there was a sort of, I'm you know, in hand wavy digital hippie terms, there was just, like, something about the vibe that wasn't quite there for me, for how much it costs. I don't think it's necessarily overcosted really in any way. The thing, like, is extremely built. It's a brand new mold from the ground up. Maybe using a digital scan, but even then I'm not 100% sure. But the tactile interactions I had with it, I was like, this is okay, but also there's parts of this that, like, make me feel a little bit squicked. I'm not 100% here for this, and when it costs this much, I want to be 100% here for this. This part moves. Clearly, this part moves. There we go. Yeah, it didn't even fail the vibe check. It just was like, it was a bit extra, and I was like, you got... One thing, I will say, one thing that turned me off the toy version with the trailer was the trailer not having the roller launching gimmick. Because I was kind of like, y'all, come on. That was kind of a moment I had with it, where I was like, for real? Like, for everything this thing is already doing, we're feature trimming the roller launcher? Like, that's a legit critique I had of it. Because I was kind of like, I know that there's going to be the argument, like, what adult wants to launch roller, and that's fair. But for how feature-rich it is, and for the superfluous things it comes with, like, the entire sticker sheet, even when most of the major details have been tampographed or paint-apped on, right? I'm kind of like, you're going to do all that, but then you're going to trim Roller's launcher out? Like, come on. Strange priorities. Noticing how many of these parts are just locking bits that already exist. I think this guy's hands are tabbed in. Yeah, they got little, not tabbed, they got little pegs. Yeah, I felt a little vindicated when like, in a lot of the coverage I saw for Missing Link, like, love it or not, like, a lot of folks were like, oh, this is cool. Hang on, sorry. before I do this, a lot of folks were like, weird that he can't launch roller, though. And I was like, that's right, it is weird. Thank you. Anyway, look at this. This stuff, like, folds in to form a new abdomen. That's sick. Look at that! That's my kind of jam. That's the stuff that makes me get all excited. Now, we just need to insert his entire crotch, because it seems to be missing. Which way does this go? Because I feel like there are a lot of ways it could go. Yeah, that part was cool. Are the hand pegs effect part compatible? Damn it, these are all pegs! All the ports are too deep set. I can't get the hand pegs in there. Oh, these are these 3 mil though? These look like 5 mil. They are effect part compatible. Landsaur can throw fireballs and shout Hadoken. Take it easy, Aaron. This is apparently the hardest part. Oh. What even is Roller in the G1 continuity? Are they alive or just a drone? What if the answer was just yeah? What if the answer to that question was just yep? Why'd you need to leak the new SF6 character like that? Okay, I can. This clearly is supposed to go on here. Why am I covering this beautiful little thing that just happened, though? Aw. Covering his guts. Oh. Yeah. What do we do now? What do we... What a view, huh? What a view. Oh, okay. There's a slot here that matches this conjoined tabulature here. But is that for the gut-tie dinosaur? He may or may not be into swordplay. This is a joke and a hint. Well, someone told me the sword goes in here, but does the sword also interact with this? Because I assume the sword just, like, you know, goes in. You know, like that. I couldn't get this handle part to peg in right. Sword handle. Sword handle go into that tail hole? So why is the sword handle jointed? Is that just for Gatai mode? Do I just leave it like that? I feel like I'm missing something with, like, this hunk here. One nice thing about the sword slot, it does a great job of straightening the blade if you accidentally bend it. Good point. It's tight. Okay, it needs to fold up for Dino mode. I'm having, like, yeah, there's a fundamental placement of mass I'm not comprehending here. I feel like the slot here is in the wrong place. And then I feel like this hunk is supposed to be somewhere else. There's a hole on the tail for the square part of the spark area. Oh! Oh, this folds down more! Okay, so I thought that... So here's the thing. I thought this peg only went there. I didn't know it folded down another click. Now that makes more sense. Alright. So, does this... I just want to see if this even fits the way I thought it was going to. Hang on. Just gonna need you to spread your legs like that for a procedure. Thank you. So here's my question. Well, not my question. I'm just gonna see if this does anything. No, that's all the... Oh, wait. So that goes in there. So this is the array here. That is all the space I have to work with. That doesn't fold down. Flip up the other end of the sword. I'm getting, like, Discord messages now? What's happening? Okay, that's unrelated. Well, basically, I'm so close to figuring this out that, like, I don't want to go look now. Like, I'm so very close. So that it's 90 degrees. Oh, wait, this whole thing folds too? Oh! I didn't know this part was jointed. I see. Alright, now we're here. This is an amazing journey that we went on together. Oh, this is kind of complex. My next question to all the doctors in the audience. Is this what this does? Also, what do you like to insert first? I'm just wondering, can I insert this first? He has 2 front butts. I feel like a better person thanks to the journey we went on together. Me too. Mimicry. Oh god, this part is hard to describe. I'm just seeing if I can get, like, the square and the circle into the square hole and the circle hole. And my vantage point on it is really complex compared to my assumption of its complexity. It will not fully tab until the whole Dino mode together. They do go in those holes, but they don't feel like it sometimes. That's why I'm wondering if I can use this to push them in. Orange Man says, I like how this seems to perfectly emulate the WTF am I supposed to do here of this era of Beast Wars toys. Yeah, that's the sword position. Because I feel like this is the keystone to get locked in first. I also like that amidst me figuring this out, we have a legit paleontological conversation going on. I got it! I knew it! Okay, so I was able to use the robot anus to hammer the sword peg end square into the tail anus to form the full anus. I thought that was gonna work. You all didn't. I mean, I know some of you believed in me. So you all, some of you paleontologicals were like, "Oh, look at this fool! Wow, this fool figured out which anus to line up with which anus." Sorry, cloaca. Regional dialect. You have to pardon me. Zim Man, I have said, I'm sure I must have said the robot anus many, many other times in my life. Still not 100% sure. There's no slot for these, right? This hole here is... I don't understand. I'm sure it's for the gut-tied dinosaur. What a weird hole. Yeah, V-Rider, I know I've said robot anus at least once in a review somewhere. Me when I get all foghorn leghorn defensive, just like, ha! Sir, I may be a simple country lawyer, but I've said a few robot anus, ain't I, in my time. I've been known to comment upon the multiples of a robot ani in my time. Thank you. Spelled A-N-I-I for those who are wondering. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I see what you mean. Someone mentioned that the jaw in this mode was kind of a bummer. It is. Closed, open. Closed, open. Pathetic. Pathetic. Not when we've got ha right here. Huh? When we've got ha right here, and then the Landsaur version is like, it's like, yeah, you got it, Dynamo Dave. Where'd my mic go? This whole time my mic's been pointed away from me. My apologies, everyone. Thank goodness I just keep shouting everything. But you're right. That's very, it's very, lazy. Uh-oh, Hasbro. Lazy. That's the mouth that speaks softly. True. He has a neck part, in other words. Neck needs to be flipped down. Was there a neck in there somewhere? Oh, here we go. I found his neck lump. That doesn't fix the... Still a soft speaker. Lazy. Couldn't get that mouth to open any wider? slap to the face of the fans. I'm doing that. Listen. I've been around too long, so to me that's funny. That's not targeting anyone in particular. It's okay. It's okay to have problems with toys. There's just a certain way it happens sometimes, and that is the thing I'm making fun of. And last time I checked in like this, everyone knew what I was talking about, right? Right? You can't explain it in harder words. Can you lock down the jaw? No, that's as far as it goes. There's you can see back here at the jaw hinge, this bulbous meat hits a wall there and kind of stops. Don't forget to test the trill of the plastic. I don't need to. In fact, I don't need to. Break out the pencils. Y'all are... That's messed up. That's super messed up. Y'all are messed up. Obviously, the trill is great on these. And you can tell the trill is some good... You hear that? That jumble? You can hear the frequency in the jumble. That the plastic is pretty high quality. You hear that? That's you don't get that with some kind of cheap, lazy piece of plastic. The red one sounded different. I zoned out. What is happening now? It's better if you don't know. You see, some parts of this are going to sound different because you got... This is the soft durometer stuff with a gloss coat on the back. And if I flip it to the matte... Hey, this got to stay pegged in. If I flip it to the matte side, that's going to sound a little bit different because it's the softer durometer stuff. Well, this is a little bit heavier. But then if we come over here... There's like big hollow spaces in here. And then if we get to this guy, he's basically a bongo drum. Because he's just a big old empty shell thing. Now, Kiss, we can do that easily with 2 of these. Because I'm an ally. See, these 2 are perfectly designed. They can do whatever they want. They're completely articulate. One could go inside the other. They can dock a little bit, their mouths. But then you deal with this one. I love Blue Man Group. Thank you. Like, thankfully, Skysaur has like a small enough mouth, right, that you could fit just the mouth inside. You know, pick out everything you got to get in there. But like, who's doing all the work, right? We go over to Seesaw. Who's doing all the work? It's not Landsaur. 3 should kiss there in a loving polycule. Well, you know, if someone's mouth could open a bit wider, then I can more easily... I can make it happen still. I'm a good ally. Hang on. This is doable, but... Somebody ain't pulling their weight. That's all I'm going to say. So you can get this one in there, and then Skysaur's got such thin mouth parts that you could fit one in there. So it's kind of like it's happening. But again, look at this. Who's doing all the work? Okay? There is a non-toxic version of this, but you'd have to get to know them in a social setting to know whether or not this is indicative of some kind of larger systemic problem with their relationship. Does Landsaur really do anything? Right? Now, someone could say, like, oh, Landsaur is the legs, and it's like, but is Landsaur, like, really leaning on that and going like, oh, I'm the legs, I don't have energy to do anything anymore? Who's the smallest one? Who's got the biggest jaw hinge here? Alright? Like, is this equality of affection here? Like, what is their love language? for instance. I don't know, because they haven't written any goddamn fiction for Legacy, so none of us know. But anyway, I need the instructions to figure out how to make them turn into a big dinosaur. I was going to say the instructions for this part are shorter, because they kind of fit on just over 3 pieces of paper. They fit on 3 pieces of paper. The pictures get much smaller for this, for the Magmasaurus. 33 steps of much smaller pictures. So we're gonna listen. I just do what I can. Okay, like I'm just living my life. So I'm gonna try to set this up so I can just look at this, cause ain't no figuring this out by myself. I'm sure someone can, and I think they're super cool, but I'm gonna just try to follow the instructions like a good real fan. Get the head pointing up like this. Raise the tail for docking. Oh, then we just pull them apart. Okay, never mind. It's 33 steps, but they leave out a dedicated thing to tell you to do that. Listen. What's your love language, Seesaw? So that's got its own little thing there, and then we flip these forward, flip them outward, but kind of inward. I wonder if this is also just telling me how to set this up for robot mode. Dino Turducken, let's go. Asking for the Vangelist Wiki, but just for clarity, what are the subtitles' love languages purely for documentation and archival purposes? The subtitles, every time I've asked them about their love language, they've said, we're co-workers, and then stopped talking to me for like 3 days. So, I don't know. I think their love language might be Times New Roman, because they're kind of basic, but, you know, don't hold me to that. What's rude? I think I've earned being a little judgy on some Times New Roman, am I right? This is really like a lot of hints of going to... Oh, that's why these do this. Okay. I did not dox my subtitles. We have maintained very publicly that the subtitles are Futura, non-bold. That's been known. It's in the credits. If you want to work in this industry, you got to be credited for something. What is this? Oh, those are those parts. Okay. Nothing wrong with Times New Roman. It's just like, if that's your love language, then like... Hella basic! That's all I'm saying. Flamero 5 was some of the good Legacy lore. As everyone knows, Tarn and Giaxis are the Himbo Tyrant Emperors of Destruction. Because yeah, that was the big reveal at the end of Season 2, was that it turns out that they are both bottoms who think they are tops. And that kind of is their entire character, right? That explains the whole character arc. Wait, what am I tabbing into? What? Oh, okay, I see. So these tab into there, like this, to create an armature. I did see that Zeron. That Zeron is neat. I like Siege Reflector a lot. And I know no one else does. Specifically for his singular alt mode. I like that alt mode, so I'm kind of hype. I enjoyed watching everyone else go like, what is this? This looks cool. Oh, it's Reflector. I really liked I know it wasn't everyone, but there were a number of people who kind of had this like light deflation moment, and I was like, that's right, get deflated. Suffer. Yeah, we got some Refractor crew in here. Since this is a Beast Wars Neo guy, would think he'd have a corpse mode, or at least a Nightmare Animal Flesh Flower mode, or a Cronenberg Battle Station form. No, this is the Magmasaur is like the pinnacle of all of that. Although technically, the Flesh Flower is supposed to be a corpse. It's supposed to be a dead dinosaur who has also been taken over by Flora. Kind of like if a Cordyceps, except it comes out of his ass. Sounded better in my head. I'm gonna do the Landsaur now. Thought Zeron was Legacy Skullgrin. No, it's the front feet give it away. It took me a while until someone said it, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Wait, is that it? One entire step in the instructions with like a 4 graphic is like, do this, and then it moves on to like showing you more stuff. That's really funny. Alright, so we just simply... We just... It's these little clippies here. It looks like. So we just marry those together. That's actually really solid. Holy crap. Then what's this? Huh? What? Okay, it's actually a pretty solid connection, but you can't just use that alone. There's these parts flip up, and there's a little peg here. Goes into a little hole here. I have a feeling Flame doesn't have fixed knees, because every promo shot I saw, he was squatting. But, like, it is fixable. It is home fixable. What do we do with this weird little, like, under flap? Just leave it? Oh, that's a lot of little red arrows there all of a sudden, right here on step number 23. That's a whole lot of little red arrows. Yeah, Griffman, I saw my friend Hoopla posted somewhere on a social media that they were able to pick up the Magmasaurus and shake it with, like, zero fear. And I was like, you what? That sounds metal as hell. Hang on. Gotta get this part up. That is some just do the thing level instructions. They want to make... I guess they really want to make sure you tab it in. It's true. My recollection is that this part was a nightmare on the original. That's my recollection, at least. Boy, you couldn't have matched a single... None of those arrows connect to things. They just point at stuff. It's like hole, slot, slot, hole, tab, tab, hole. Oh, which ones go together? Go to hell. Try being a true fan. But, okay. That thing I talked about earlier holds true. If you just line up enough of it and squeeze, it just goes together. Hell yeah. Instruction sheet. You got this, dude. Yeah. Yes, Roger Pioco. It's looking me in the eye and telling me to grow up. Oh, you closed the tail afterwards. Hell yes. That's why this is so goddamn solid. Look at that. Then you go, bum. We're back. We're back. Yo, this freaking rules. Welcome to Big Magmatron's transformation hell. Go screw yourself. Correct mimicry. Alright, now what? After all that, now this little bird shows up. The one who does all the work. What the hell is going on? Oh, like this. I guess. Well, how are you supposed to have all the heads showing forward? What? Hang on. You're... Oh. It's like, just put the piece there. And it's like, what piece? Put what piece there? You didn't point at what piece? Just put the piece there. Idiot. Hi there, Ronnie Lane. You have indeed caught this while it's live. Mimicry. Skysoar does just go in, though, so that's fair. Yeah, you're not wrong. But, dang it. Okay, and then there is... Boy, what... Look at this. Look at this, huh? Because the next merging point... The next merging point... is like, we are cupping this right down onto there, and Skysoar is just like, yeah! Yeah! Yes! Do it! Oh! Alright, now what? Okay, these parts go like that, I think. And now his legs are getting all curled and stuff. You could peg Skysaur's head down to make it less weird. Why? Because the instructions even... Like, it's so weird. There is a tab on the back of Skysaur's head, and there is a slot there and a divot for Skysaur's head to go in, I guess. Like that, right? But then the instructions proceed to say, right, do all that, then fold this up, then fold this up. And I'm like, then what was that for? Why was that happening? These two in the back, they're just having a good time. Look at them. The head peg is so you can nap after the crotch combining. True. Oh, all three heads forward is an attack mode. Okay. Well, it should be the always mode, IMO. You know, I'm going to say one thing. Unless I missed something here. Okay, I don't think I missed anything. Kind of messed up. Something here? Nope. Okay, kind of messed up that for all that's going on, these two square pegs don't have a Magmasaur spot. Where's my innocuous square slot for his ankles to hook into? Lazy. Looks like some pegs weren't used for the Magmasaur mode, Hasbro. I can't help but notice it seems like Skysaur's legs don't really have a solid place to go. Uh-oh. Looks like I caught you on a little napping at the keyboard moment. Such a bizarre character, and I love it. I feel like someone said that another time, like almost word for word. Oh, am I supposed to do anything else with the legs? There was something in the instructions. I don't think it was important. Oh, okay. It was just fold those down so they're bent. Okay. Wait, really? Wait, what? How? Oh, I have the elbows the wrong way. That's why. Silly me. There we go. Zoomer version has bruh. It might be illegal for me to do that joke. Millennial cops are gonna come for me. And appropriating some of that Zoomer language. I could do whatever I want, man. Okay, we got requests to know if the trill has changed. You know, they're the ones doing this now. I was over the bit, but now everyone's like, no, keep doing it! Keep doing it! It's like, okay, I guess here we go. You didn't check to see if the trill changed! Stupid streamer! Stupid streamer, check the trill! Oh, that's so funny to me. Hitting plastic dinosaurs with a pen is like dangling car keys in front of a baby. That's so messed up and also accurate. Hang on. I only have one pen. I type on keyboards. It's the 21st century. What I got the third one, Spudger. Okay. So we got ballpoint pen, back scratcher, keychain, Spudger. Like Wolverine claws. This yeah. I've been to wars, bub. Oh! Hang on, Skysour's crotch got loose. Fixed. Alright. Oh no, now this got loose. Fixed. Alright. That's a nice high quality sound. Thanks for confirming the plastic quality, says Sideswipe Prime 606. You're welcome. You know, simple service to provide to the community, obviously. Dynamo Dave, my wife. Hey, what are you watching? Oh. I hope that's real. I hope that's real. Yeah, this is a dead-ass solid Magmasaur mode. Like... Ah! Almost dropped him. I gotta get to a... I don't know how to get to a wider shot. Hang on, let me try something. Mic is gonna get moved, so this might get a little awkward. Let's see. Let's see. Go back here. This Necron action figure keeps falling over. Alright. Ooh. Bring it to face cam. It's too late. We've come this far. There's always time. For one last kiss. They can actually do it. They can do it while business in front, pleasure in back. They can do it. Hang on, I'll get this in focus. Oh man, a live showing of the Legacy finale. Showrunner of the Netflix Transformers shows, writing me an angry reply on Twitter right now. Oh, we got Jiggly Crotch. There we go, fixed it. This is why Landsaur isn't into it as much. He feels left. Yeah, Landsaur's just like... Oh. Because they're all combined. It's a Gatai, so, you know, it's still a shared physical form. And Landsaur realizes he has nothing to do with what's happening back there. So it's like... Oh. Have fun. Have fun. My keyboard wrist rest thing just got knocked over by all of this that's happening. Subtitles think "got tie" is "got tired." Well, here now it said "got tie." You just get an email that simply says you have to stop. Landsaur is the designated driver of the got tie. True, but yeah, you can toss it. Toss it like a happy baby. Tossing the happy baby. Whee! The happy baby. Oh, you can see it on the face cam too. No, no, no. Don't shake the baby. Toss the baby. Yeah, someone got it. I wonder if this is fully locked in. Is he packed separate at Miss Robot? Yeah, he's packed in a sort of like pseudo-tantric robot mode position. That was the start. That was the start. I saw, can these things come out, the wing swords? I guess they kind of can, like that. So they're like scissors. / extra wings / lobster claws. Skysaur, get back in it. Anyway, I want to see if I can... I want to see what happens if I toss this up lightly and let it hit the desk. The crotch comes loose, but otherwise holds together. Let's try that again. The crotch comes loose, but otherwise holds together. One more time. Rule of threes. Ronnie Lane, I love the subtitles rendered the mouth noises as Chicago. Toss test! Still in one piece, just the crotch came loose. Fixed it. So, Skysaur's loose crotch is the weak point. But otherwise, well, you can see, this is the camera right here. You can see how far back I moved this thing. Didn't notice that till just now. My favorite part of the Legacy finale was when Windblade and Chromia scissored in the finale battle. Hang on. I'll be right back. Why are you in bike mode? So Windblade's in the other room, and you know I do these for free. So at a certain point, we got to accept like the for free shareware version of what we were talking about. Happy Pride! I'm an ally. So yeah, Magmatron, kick-ass commander toy. Let's see. I'm gonna try to make this a robot. Do I have enough time to make this? I got enough. Surely it's not that hard to make this into a robot. I'm gonna go full circle. I've done it. Thank you, Trent Salamander. I try. I do what I can. As a hetero-romantic gray demi person from the Ace gradient, according to what I read, I generally spend most of my time sounding like a confused straight person. So I do my best to express some solid allyship as much as I can. The blue's amazing in person. Yeah, that's a Magmasaur. That's all 3 colors. The Landsaur color is gorgeous. Unless you're talking about Chromia. Chromia is blue, as you can see here. Chromia's blue is amazing in person. What'd you get for Pride? I got given a real queer card. But no, I did my readings thanks to some very kind people who shared lots of stuff without me asking for it. I was just following them on various social medias. I figured some stuff out, and then the moment I did, someone immediately said, "Oh yeah, me too," and I was like, "Hell yeah, okay, confirmed." Syllable Squad. Ugh. Technically, the robot mode should be the easiest thing to do out of all of this. Because it's just unfold everything into the robot shapes. Chromia's riding a dewback on my desk. Did I ever flip that out? Whatever. There's no time to worry about things like ethics when it comes to science. We've just got to keep moving forward. Onward and upward. How does it feel? Hang on, wait a second. I gotta move this mic closer to me. I keep talking next to it, not at it. How does it feel realizing or knowing that a potential legacy show would have most likely meant Elita 1 is resurrected because selling toys? I would have liked to know if she would have gotten to be her own character more. Not to say she wasn't, but she was also a lot... By the end of the Netflix stuff, she was a whole lot of, like... Optimus, you gotta... I believe in you. Optimus, you're the best. Optimus, I'm gonna die and you're gonna feel sad about it. And it was like, alright, well... So there's like room for that, you know? There's room for that. It's not like that's an impossible thing to have exist, but... Hell yeah, Flame Aura 5. I mean, generally, like, whether or not I have ended up in any kind of position with my own self, I want this space to still be nice for everybody. Just that I also ended up being able to, like, have one of the most difficult to explain syllable loaded things for my own personal stuff. But I was one of the folks where I benefited from lots of time during lockdowns to stare at a wall, as many did. I'm sure you all have at least one friend who, you know, figured out stuff about themselves. Oh man, on Blue Sky, I have been added with some hot Chromia dewback action, waiting for it. Well, it's there, but I gotta get there. Hell yeah, Sideswipe Prime. Like, in general, like, it's, you know, a lot of it just comes down to, like, y'all, just be nice. That's something I've learned from, my mom, still helping out a lot at the fencing club at the university out west. And thus experiencing the first wave of lockdown high school graduates. And there are, it's also among many things. It is also a lot of people who were like kind of, you know, hurt by all that, and then and trying to figure themselves out, and being thrown into a university environment that was in the midst of, and then just kind of stopping being in a lockdown. So there's like all walks of life, all manner of folks out there, and the general thing that binds everyone together, from my mom's experiences and me whenever I go over there and visit, is just like everyone's like, just be cool. Just don't be aggro and don't flip out. Well, that sword's in there tight. Holy moly. YouTube? Whoa, what happened? Oh, we got a gender connection happening in the chisel, in the chat, in the... Okay, this is a topic jump. For various reasons, I don't know if y'all have noticed, I've sort of made an effort not to just default to referring to proper noun chat or entity chat, because that's like such a common thing. Like I heard that like there are like little kids now who do that at school, like referring to a non-existent entity known as chat, which is like fine. But I was like, I hate fitting in with people, so I'm constantly trying to like find other words to refer to conversing viewers as. There's a few of us around. Hell yeah. We're the V-chat. Oh no! This my channel awesome in-character vlog series. It's you! It's all of you! The audience is... I like the audience. Evangelites was always my whole thing I tried to push by myself for a while. Oh, hey, John! No! Okay, so, Butterboy in the viewership, John, from the Discord, I like that name, the Discord, the Evangelist Discord, got an inexpensive X2 Toys Sky Crusher, which was X2 Toys' Jetfire. Very weird toy, but really cool. It was like, I think you mentioned it was a Grail item. Got it for really discount. Immediately noticed just, like, all this weird stuff. All these, like, actively disintegrating joints. Apparently, his knee exploded. That's friggin' sucks. Damn. I was like really hoping that was not gonna happen. Oh, there's pictures in the Visc. Oh no, I gotta look later. For those who are wondering, the Evangelist Discord, the Discord, is a perk for being a supporter at any point. I tried to set it up so it doesn't actively check if you're like maintaining Patreon ship or whatever, or YouTube membership. It's just a little gate I put in on the front door because I hate moderating. So I'm trying to kill time as long as possible before potentially ever having to moderate it. Oh, I missed something. Did I review Fortnite figures? I did a stream, right at the end of 2019, where I went over how impressed I was with the first wave of Fortnite figures. That was a stream, I think. It should still be here on YouTube. But yeah, that was post Channel Awesome. It's always funny when I get meet someone new who is in that very particular like deranged Cthulian array of angles of experience, where I can go like, oh yeah, I was on Channel Awesome, and they can be like, huh? And it's always fun when that happens. Doesn't happen much anymore. Yeah, it was definitely pre-pandemic. Because 2020 depression is what actually murdered me reviewing the Fortnite figures. Because I was gonna. And then in 2020, I was super depressed for some reason. And one of the many things I kept saying I'm going to do next week was make a video about the Fortnite figures. And then it went on and on and on and on. Hey, we got people right now doing the thing. Yeah. Correct, I was on Channel Awesome for like a long time, too. I always forget how long I was on there. This isn't right. It's gotta be this way, yeah. Ronnie Lane, I came to you through Channel Awesome. You are one of the few! Butterboy as well, Jean. Yeah, there's a handful of people who are like, I only know of you because you were on Channel Awesome. And, like, that's so rare. Like, a majority of my Channel Awesome videos just ended up being edits of YouTube videos because, like, my motivation to put effort into doing stuff on there was beaten out of me through apathy very quickly. But, oh, JT Elm. You might not know this then. At TFCon LA 2019, I did a fan media panel where I pulled Lindsay Ellis onto the panel at the last minute. So it is a panel, and I think there's a stream recording somewhere still. I can't remember, because I never got good footage of it. There was a panel of me and Lindsay Ellis and Optibotimus and John Epic Voice Guy. Which is a very funny arrangement of people to just say we're all in a panel together. It was very funny. Basically, like, Lindsay was at that TFCon and it sent me a DM like, hey, I'm at TFCon. It looks like you're here. We should say hi. And I was like, yeah, I'm in the panel room. Then when we connected, I was like, hey, I'm doing a fan media panel. You're a fan of Transformers, right? You should join the panel because there's only 3 of us. Anyway, that was interesting. I don't remember a lot of the panel other than like the part where like someone during the Q&A brought up Channel Awesome in a really like kind of, they were trying to not, because this was like when the wound was fresh, and they were trying to like not just say it. And if I recall correctly, I cut in to just refer to an aggregator site, and it made everyone feel less awkward. And I was like, look at me, I was helping. That's the main thing I remember. Wait, no, I gotta put bird in there first. Yeah, the internet sure is a place. Yeah, the funniest part, the other funny part is whenever I'm like, oh, I was on Channel Awesome, and people are like, oh, tell me some dish, give me some tea, and I'm like, I got none, nobody talked to me. That's my other funny part of that. I had one conversation with Robert Walker, and then I had one long, increasingly strange conversation with Bargo. And then I only ever talked to like Holly now and then. And then when she stopped doing their website updates, that was it. And I'd go into their silly, icky sports high school basketball scheduling system and schedule videos and never hear from anybody. And that was kind of the bit. Flamewar05, it's old internet. I dare say it is actually vaguely dangerous to go looking stuff up about it, because it's been third-hand pulled into countless other discourses over a decade/decade and a half, many of which are terribly ugly and not really all that fun to look at now in 2024. It's just some old internet funny stuff that many people are not fully aware I was actually involved with. Trans Salamander with, have you heard of Doug Walker, the man who made an awesome The Wall parody? LOL. Don't do that to people. That's... Don't do that to people. PT, conglomerating together what YouTubers would do before ad revenue became a thing. Yeah, it was like a period of like 2 years where if you could get something going on another video website, it was huge. And then it was like 7 years of going, when does this get good again? It's the best way to describe it. They must watch this incredible The Wall parody. I don't condone this. I'm not gonna do anything about it, but I don't condone this. I'm just an innocent streamer sitting here playing with toys. Also, I will say Magmatron went together super easy. That was way easier than I was expecting. This is like strictly better Magmatron. I wonder, have we got enough room? Beloved. Yes! Okay, it's doable. It's doable! And once again, Landsaur just watches. Oh. Have fun. Have fun. Over there. Without me. Long River Valley says, self-love is a beautiful thing. It is. There's also like a whole ass thing you can stick on his arm. I feel like it goes on this way better. Because then there's less, like, stuff in the way. Oh, chat user Trend Salamander says, Magmasturbation. True. Well, even the auto captions, they didn't put it together, but they wrote it out. M. Cypher, did you ever tell me what would be a surefire thing Hasbro could do for Legacy? I don't think you did. Ah. V-Rider, I think that's the intended lock point for the shield. I just want to see if it goes on the other way around again. Ah! So I didn't get my finger caught in there. But be careful flipping that out, because that was close enough to sandwiching my finger that it made me go arg. Okay, it still goes on like this too. Because these ones in front are more pincer-like, and I prefer the way they look in the front, and I like the hunk in the back. But the mush back here, I was wondering if it felt any different. I'm sorry, for Voyager, Energon, Wing Saber using the weapon, Armorizer format. 100%, that would totally work. Big-ass version of that, so you could really, like, meet it out, too. Oh, Malicitos, that snap sounded very scary. I didn't realize it was off-screen when I made that noise. That's why I kind of explained myself a bit more, because I was like, oh, that actually probably sounded like I died. I should probably let on what was going on there. Oh, this is a cool toy, though. Just gotta look over here. There's some stuff in the way. But yeah, I went on about this early in the stream, but I know some of you showed up later on, so I'll repeat myself a little bit. The one thing I heard about this toy going in was that it was, like, basically strictly better Magmatron. Like, take old Magmatron and then improve stuff. And I pretty much agree. I'm having trouble getting these in. Let's go. Ugh! There we go. So everything that I remember being really hard to do on old Magmatron is not as hard to do on this one. And it's in part because of the modern toy thing, where if there's a bunch of tabs and slots to line up and they're big, you can kind of just line up half of them and then go, ugh! And the rest just go together. I don't know if you, well, you know, sort of masterpiece Magmatron. Like, there's not much you could, if you gave him, like, more finger joints, maybe, then it would just become masterpiece version, yeah. But, like, everything's got ratchets and are thick. Oh, Zimman 2, was it, like, censoring you saying the two words channel awesome? Oh, yeah, Sam Wellbell. I got him last week. I've been sitting on him this whole time because I'm becoming an addict streamer. So I'm like, I've been waiting 2 weeks to open this toy. Time to wait another week. Oh yeah, I'm in live chat, but sometimes stuff can be messy if you're in top chat. Yeah, Trans-Alamander's got you. Unlock the ab crunch. I was wondering if you could do that with this thing down here. Yeah, I guess it is kind of an ab crunch. Top chat's not, like, the worst if you're viewing, but if you're streaming, it can kind of be a bummer, because it will cut some stuff out. Document. I have a suspicion I know what you typed, but I don't know what would have been censored out of it. GD Slalom earlier on said, of the commanders you've handled, how does this one stack up so far? This is up there, partly because it is just turning into a big guy. When commander toys just turn into a big guy, that's usually their strongest suit, and generally, like, I think, of all the ones I've handled, which is every single one except for Studio Series Magnus, I don't really have that many bad things to say about Commander Class, period. I think it is, low-key, Transformers' most successful price point of the last couple years. Just generally, I think that it hits enough of the marks at worst, if not, like, nails a ton of marks. Like, you know, worst commanders as often cited by people. Motormaster, I mean, you have to have a certain taste, but, like, if you treat Motormaster as a toy with a power-up exosuit, I think he friggin' rocks. And yeah, I don't think there's been a commander toy I dislike. I just haven't handled Magnus yet, because I mentioned earlier, Magnus was the first time they dropped a second one in the same calendar year, and I was like, I can't do this right now. And then he disappeared from planet Earth. And I was like, okay, I did my best. Someday I'll try to pick one up. I just didn't want to overpay for him. Because I think overpaying for Commander Class is a great way to diminish Commander Class. It really needs to be at MSRP at a ceiling of that, more or less. Like, if you get, 10 or 20 bucks over, whatever, that's like gas money. But, like, if it's like 50, 60 bucks over retail, I think Commander Class then starts to be like, ah, because then you've paid extra, right? Fear Rider says, I've seen Rodimus cited as the weakest. Yeah, I would disagree with that, but I think Rodimus, well, it's going to come down to Rodimus and Motormaster because the two of them don't turn into a big guy. So if you just despise Rodimus's trailer, I could see that being a game breaker since Motormaster can integrate with his trailer into a super mode. But I think Rodimus's trailer, like, hey, let me go get it. It's sitting up. For some reason, it's sitting by my printer. I don't know why I keep it there. But, like, the trailer's biggest problem was that it didn't close, and then mine magically started closing after 24 hours. So it fixed itself. So my Rodimus fixed himself. But I also kind of adore this. I forgot how he dismounts. Yeah. I really like thicker Hot Rod, as just this is actually Rodimus. I love this figure a lot. So, like, the trailer is, like, not something I'm super attached to, but I still like some of this. Like, I like the shelf. The drawer, sorry. I like this thing. Oh, that's where I put that! Okay. Oh, no, wait. No, these are Rodimus's parts. I don't know where I put my Studio Series Hot Rod accessories, because I was going to try to write a video for him. And then I was like, wait, I don't know where his Matrix Glow is or his anything. But yeah, like, generally speaking, I kind of liked how this turned out once mine started closing. Not being able to close was the problem, and then it fixed itself. So I'm surprised if that's true, if more people like Motormaster, because I feel like Motormaster's just been getting, like, crapped all over since he came out. At least from, like, some of the circles I've seen. I don't, obviously, it's really hard to say what the consensus is on any Transformers toy, because one of the kind of bonus features of Transformers as a fandom is we are split into countless micro communities, many of which never interact with each other. So, Sky Crusher update part 3, he's full of mold. No! That's like everything that I hoped wouldn't, because there were those funny splotches on the inside of the legs, right? But I was hoping, like, oh, it must just be gloop. Ugh. Anyway, I'm a fan of this toy. I'll always stick up for this toy to a certain degree. Like, I'll never say, like, you all should love the trailer. Because, well, the thing I will say is, I kind of like this trailer. I've made no secret how much I hate the Earthrise trailer. The stupid, cynical, do-nothing box. I feel like this trailer justifies its girth more, but this is, like, at the limit of what I will deal with for a trailer that doesn't turn into part of a robot as well. I need my super modes. The thing with Motormaster, I just saw M. Cypher's post there. The thing with Motormaster that is very much a taste thing I mentioned earlier is I like him when he's just wearing the Menacer suit as an exosuit with his small robot mode head still up. I think it looks sick, and I think it's full of storytelling. But nobody told that story, so it's my headcanon. So for headcanon reasons, I love Motormaster as a standalone toy. I just hate the Earthrise trailer because it's so cynical and do nothing. But I've yelled about that a lot. It's like my one thing when people are like, "You like everything." I'm like, "No, I hate that one stupid box." I hated it so much. Non-F gifted me a set of non-F parts to make it better. So you know, like now it's the Volvo Prime trailer that I hate because that's my untouched gray one now. Uh, but yeah, Motormaster is packed full of storytelling. Um, so it's just my headcanon now. But like he can hit you get him into that exosuit with his small robot mode head up. You give him the stupid gun tower as an over-the-shoulder cannon, which he can totally do, and then you put up a Garo timer and go like he has 666 seconds or 66.6 seconds to use this. One of these days, I'm gonna have the room to film something with that. I'm not happy with like how little room I have to film dramatized bits. It bums me out. Yeah, I think Volvic Prime came with the Earthrise trailer partly because I think it just fit in the box nicer. Um, but maybe it's also I feel like the Earthrise trailer is set up to be shot out of like produced on its own. Like I think its mold exists by itself. So I feel like the Earthrise trailer is something that is able to just be made for a Prime when they want to give it a trailer. Like depending what capsules end up happening, right? I would say don't be surprised if Deluxe G1 Toy Optimus gets a re-release somewhere down the road with the Earthrise trailer in a box with like maybe something else. It just feels like it's gonna happen. I'm going on and on. It's because I love this toy and I don't want to stop. He looks even better there on the screen right now than in person. At that angle, he's looking so dynamic and thrusty. Yeah, V-Rider, I saw Mark was posting the Earthrise trailers, one of the several that the G1 Toy Prime can pull. It's just, like, I feel like the evidence is there that the Earthrise trailer doesn't rely on a toy being made with it, so it's like a trailer that they can add on to a thing, right? And that's fine, you know? I hate that trailer, but I don't hate it to the point where I'm going to actually get angry, for real angry, every time it shows up. Like, my actual emotion is mostly just, like, a sigh and, like, I don't want another one. That's about it. I'm leaving things on this shot because I think Magmatron just looks so sick. Jobby said Magmatron is his desk toy now. I can see that. Deathsaurus was desk toying for me for a bit. Then I just ran out of desk room. So I had to go put him somewhere. But yeah, Magmatron's just fun. Even with the ab crunch unlocked, like he's wiggly, but he's not like fall apart wiggly. But yeah, I have other things to open, but I was going to see how long Magmatron took. He took long enough, so I'm going to save those things for a couple days from now or something. Unexpected arrivals in Canada. Had to run over to a GameStop and pick them up because they don't keep things longer than 5 days unless you're on like a trip or something. Those pre-orders were for like September, and those things showed up now. GD Slaw, I'm sorry if you're repeating yourself. What were your first impressions of this week's reveals? Oh, no, I don't think I went on too much. Let me see if I can even remember them off the top of my head. Soundwave is fine. I don't need him because I have everything but the Buzzsaw, so I'm fine. Buzzsaw's fake. Buzzsaw is a marketing homunculus who does not matter. But no, yeah, the Soundwave I think is fine. I mean, it's now going to exist one more time, so hopefully everyone who still really wanted one can get one, basically. The G1 Toy Optimus obviously is the highlight, because it's like the new toy. I think it looks great. I mentioned earlier in the stream, it's doing everything I like that Missing Link does, and is stripped out most of the stuff I didn't end up wanting to pay for on Missing Link, which is why I didn't buy one. So I'm hyped for that one, because I think it's going to deliver the Missing Link vibe that I want. Way cheaper and without the parts I don't really care about. The Metal Hawk I think is pretty funny. Because I actually still have I have my Autobot himbos, Metalhawk and Galaxy Shuttle, still over here on the desk because I don't know where to put them. Uh, and I thought it was kind of funny that it was like just this, but like vibranced up because the toy was brighter than the cartoon. This is a good toy. I like this toy. I know the jet mode doesn't do it for everyone, but I like the jet mode. And I think that he wears this body exceptionally well. So I'm happy that Metalhawk's going to be chilling out again. And what was it? The Motor Master, moi. The head looks kind of weird, but I think it works because the body already was kind of weird. So having a sort of weird Motor Master head on top feels perfect to me. And also, we moved the Motor Master to the main line, baby. Like that feels like the legit tribute material to good old DJW. Quake looks cool. I like him. I think he looks better than I actually don't. I don't have Skullgrin still. I just have the G2 Decepticon, who I don't mind, but Quake looks like really well realized considering what he's built upon. Slipstream, I think looks fine, but most people's critiques are not really like wrong. Like, I'm not gonna go to town for the head sculpt. I think the head sculpt looks fine to me, but I'm not gonna go out there telling people like you must love this. I'm not on the hate train for that one. I think it looks. I mean, I like the Windblade toy, right? So I'm a little biased there. So it's like, hey, a decent repaint with a decent head in cool colors of a toy I already like. Geocron I really enjoy because in my head, Geocron, you know how they've implied that the Infernac Rock Lords have been like taking on Transformers rocks? So Geocron, I know, is a reference to something else, but in my head, because there's never going to be fiction for Geocron, Geocron is the one who got Unicron rocks in him. So it's like the littlest one, but he's got a god complex. Galvatron is like fine. Armada Galvatron is fine. They're both like, look, they were gonna happen, and they did it right. So hey, I still don't have an Armada Megatron, so I don't know which one I'm gonna get. I have no real attachment to either color scheme. The GoBots 3-pack is solid. I am so bummed out Smallfoot has to be in eHobby colors, though. And then also I looked at Gears, and I was like, you're so close to already being Smallfoot anyway. I kind of also understand why you're sticking with the eHobby colors, but that head sculpt looks so good! I want to see that in real Smallfoot colors. I'm a GoBots G1er. Fight me. But yeah, the GoBots 3-pack looks neat. Hopefully it's not hard to get a hold of. There was something else. Where'd that post go? Oh, there it is. The last comic pack! Yeah, Zeron and Flame. Super cool. Of all the comic packs, the only one I think I will go out of my way to get if it doesn't go out of stock is eventually I'm going to get Straxus. I'd like to get Zeron and Flame, but if it remains Pulse exclusive and never goes on sale, I don't know if I will, only because it's the case of so many things coming out, right? But I think it looks neat. Hopefully Flame's knees are as easy to fix as Megatron's were. I think that's everything. I need to hydrate. Where'd that go? It's over here. Oh, I didn't see the box, Orange Man. If there's a legit GoBots logo, is that also, like, is that small hope that maybe Hanna-Barbera is just gonna, like, relax and we can have cartoon GoBot imagery more overt in Transformers? Because that would be cool. Timu says, almost every Pulse exclusive has gone on sale, some for minutes, some for days. Alright, so I got a chance. Ooh, sick. Because I also always assumed part of the reason we stuck with the eHobby colors is because that way you don't bump into Hanna-Barbera. But, like, I know the eHobby 6 have their own kind of following now, and I don't want to say, like, oh, erase them, G1! But also, I like parts of the GoBot cartoon, so I would like GoBot cartoon color characters, eventually. There are some good GoBots episodes. I keep going on about Et2 Cykill, final episode of the series. It's the one where they reveal that GoBots did the Optimus Megatron prehistory brotherhood ship thing first. GoBots did it first! It's not Hanna-Barbera, it's Machine Robo. Well, I thought that the Hanna-Barbera models were, like, so removed, though. I don't know, maybe. I'm also... I didn't look into it deep enough, so I'm making assumptions. I just always thought the GoBots cartoon specifically was so its own weird, goopy thing that it was the main problem. Like, yeah, they were closer to the toys than Transformers, but they still took a fair number of liberties here and there. At least for the characters I care about. Because I mostly care about the characters who were very bendy and had non-toy accurate faces. So, that's also where my brain tends to lead. Like, my thinking is always like, well, I mean, you look at Scooter. Never did there exist a toy that looked like Scooter, the GoBots character. There was a toy that resembled his body type. My glasses are all fogged up with Magmatron spudge. I'm only a simple country lawyer. Yeah, V Rider, like Smallfoot is actually just gears. So I think that, like, maybe if there was some way they could do a Gears color way with green glasses of the E-Hobby Smallfoot head that they just did, and just put that with the toys somewhere, like, I could maybe just head swap and then, get what I want. Yeah, reverse Gears. Just do shattered glass Gears, but change it so you just swap all the red and the orange, or red and the blue, and then just pack in the Smallfoot head separately so that we never see it on the toy. But oh, it just happens to be in the box. Oh, funny! Look at that. And then it comes with a note that says, "Hey Chris, here, this is just for you, the world's only Smallfoot G1 Smallfoot fan." I'm like, thank you. What are you doing here? I'm gonna put you back over here. I was staring for a sec. I forgot what this was supposed to be. Yeah, both of us G1 Smallfoot fans. No, when it comes to Redecos, I mean, like, I'm a hideous monster where I get very selfish once I get fixated on stuff. So when it's like Hanna-Barbera GoBots or Action Master Elites, I'm just shoving people out of the way, pushing them into walls, locking them in elevators, going like, "No, make that Omega Supreme. make that double punch." It's because this was lying over here in just the right kind of heap where I was like, I can't see what I was doing. But then I pick it up, I'm like, ah, yes, scissoring. It's Happy Pride, that's what it is! But yeah, no, the reveals were neat. I kind of like the pivot they did of just, like, doing, like, some daily reveals. I think everyone involved, even BMAC, probably after, like, when they were filming them, when they did those, like, once a week reveals for a month, I think everyone involved found all that very tiring. Like, they filmed it all in one go, I'm pretty sure, but, like, that was a bunch of extra editing, a bunch of extra scheduling. It was completely lost steam here and there. And by doing everything in a row, it's just like, you know, to pre-orders. And I think that, like, played better for everybody. So, you know, good for them. Didn't we get... Oh, no. I'm thinking, what was the Diaclone Universe Twin Twist from the Records capsule? Was that supposed to be... That was supposed to be something, and now I forgot what it was. But, you know, the blue and the red one. Oh, well, GD Slalom, I mean, one thing that's helpful to know is that the team is not actually live for those things, for the most part, at least. So, it's just some poor intern who has to look at that live chat. So, like, just leave it closed. Like, those streams are very post-produced and then just a video that they're playing for the most part. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But, like, more often than not, they very clearly give me that vibe. Like, sometimes you can even hear the edits. And it's the smart way to do it. I think Paper Plane showed me there was some Doctor Who toy line where the company was doing live stream demos. And it was really live, and it was really awkward. And, like, toys kept breaking or falling over or something, and it was just, like, kind of sad. Did Akira... I feel like Akira slide... Well, I don't remember which stream that was. Like, sometimes there's live elements, but for the most part, I think those things are... Like, especially the promo ones that aren't, like, part of an event, I think are just, like, you know, they're pre-shot. Which they should be, like, you know, trim stuff for time. Oh, I mean, GD Slalom, people show up in those sleeves just to... streams just to bash what's being shown off. Because, like, sometimes there is, like, a form of viral unhappiness where, like, much like a cordyceps, it infects your brain and just makes you want to go make other people unhappy. Not to make yourself feel better, but because you gotta go make other people unhappy. Chris Muse, I had to pop off for a bit. Are the bird dino and the plesiosaur making out? Yes. It's an important test to make sure they could still do that in robot mode, and they can. So thank goodness. I'm an ally. Happy Pride. Is this showing up as redact? Okay, kind of. I was wondering. Yes, in every mode, they are able to lock lips. But yeah, it is one of the dangers of, like... I'm gonna get a little philosophical, a little fandom philosophical. It's one of the dangers of generally, like leaning into, like, getting mad as a motivation, or, like, getting mad as a hobby, is, like, eventually, I think it is inevitable eventually if you keep at it. A lot of people are able to stop, but, like, it leaves ugly footprints in your brain, at least in my experience. If you default to gossip, if you default to, like, oh, what's the latest tea, if your go-to icebreaker is, like, don't we all hate this guy, it leaves, like, muddy footprints in your brain. And it kind of doesn't go away. And over time, I think it really, like, leaves, like... It just leaves, like, ugly muck in your brain that wants to spread. And so, like, yeah, it's why, like, I generally have an approach towards hobbies of, like... My phrase I lean into now is hobbies are in service of you. But, like, part of that is, like... It's better for your brain if you are having fun with hobbies, and you have to have a certain awareness of what, you know, toxic positivity is, because you don't want to tell people to stop complaining all the time, because that is also infectious. But if I don't like something, I'll usually, I'll be able to say, oh, I don't really like that, and then I kind of like, anyway, I'm really into this thing because I'm myself as just a person, I'm more interested in hearing about what people like, because I think those conversations tend to be more interesting in hobby spaces. Whereas delving into why someone doesn't like something can be very cathartic, but it comes with that risk of like soon you might start repeating yourself. If you listen to people who kind of go on a rant, right? This is my rant segment. Often people start to repeat themselves more and more and more in rant segments, and I think it is like the cyclic nature of like, the little ugly thing walking around stomping in circles leaving footprints in your brain, where it just wants to start repeating itself over and over again. And I find that is more common with grumpy stuff than with eager, excited stuff, in my experience. And yeah, and it can also lead to stuff like, people zeroing in on the team on Instagram and going like, they might have hit this toy and this toy and this toy out of the park for you, but they got this one wrong. And I'm gonna zero in on that. We're gonna talk about the one they got wrong a whole lot, because also like they did the one they got wrong, they finished working on like a year ago. So like, oops, you're too late. To me, that's the bigger point. Like, if you want to really get at Mark, about Slipstream, you had to know about Slipstream and get at him about Slipstream a year ago, and you didn't know about her, and you can't, and you didn't. So, there's just a really low ceiling on like what going hard on how Slipstream is wrong is like going to accomplish. Yeah, Orange Man saying, learning to go, this isn't for me, made me so much happier in this hobby versus getting mad and staying mad and stuff. It's a really valuable skill, and I don't think it's necessarily easy for everybody to learn, because like, especially if you're in a fandom, I think the nature of what fandoms are now, and I use that as the non-derogatory term, they're changing enough where you don't need to live on a message board, you don't need to live in a Twitter hashtag, to participate in your hobby the way that it kind of felt like you had to in the aughts and the 2010s. Like, you look at, also Twitter is dead now, but you go and look at the state of people who are still active in fandom communities there. I constantly see, Toku Twitter's terrible, Transformers Twitter's gone down the tubes, it's so horrible and toxic, and it's like, maybe it is, but like, it's also a lot of folks I think are just getting by and they're fine, but like, the worst of it is people who come off to me as feeling like this is where they have to exist. We've got to exist here. Through rain and fire, we've got to exist and be perceived here. And it's like, that's gonna melt your brain eventually, And yeah, Ronnie Lane's not wrong. Like, there is, to quote, there's a difference between critical negativity and active vitriol. And that's what I mean. It's like, critical negativity is also a skill. And it's not easy to do. And I think that for various other tangents I could go on, a lot of average enthusiasts, and average, non-derogatory, just the average Joe enthusiast, the average whoever enthusiast, has sort of been media trained, if they're in their 30s now especially, or up, to default to criticisms gotta be a little bit repetitive and mad. And I think that's also going to be going away, over time. Quote, Transformers Tumblr, pretty chill except for the porn. Legit, I don't know. Chill is good. That's always nice. But yeah, like, in general, it's just like learning, it's a lot of, it's not really a fandom thing to learn so much it is just like an enthusiast hobbyist thing to learn, regardless of what you're into. It's like how to keep it someone should do a panel series of some kind talking about this stuff. But yeah, like, it's more about just making sure that like stuff is making you feel better, because it is ostensibly stuff you're doing in your spare time, or stuff you're doing to have fun. And if stuff you're doing to have fun is not fun, then something has to change. And what that is highly variable. Depends on your personality, depends on the context of what's going on. But, like, it's still gotta be fun for you to do. Otherwise, like I said this in a panel at one point, if your hobby is work and makes you mad, and it's the thing you do once you're done your work day, which perhaps also is work and makes you mad, then you're just working and mad all the time. And that's not, again, not good for the brain. Gee, Salam, oh man, I would have watched a whole playlist of panel series if someone made one of those. Yeah, someone's got to do that. Someone's got to do that. A panel, you say, like talking about why we enjoy the toys? Perhaps. I don't mean to like go like look at my panel series, but like, you know, other people. Was it Transmissions had an episode with someone talking about collecting psychology. Mikey brought me on to Moonbase 2 to talk about this stuff. I put that in the playlist even. That one, but like, I still feel it doesn't get enough airtime. Also because, and this is a YouTube thing, talking about how to enjoy something will not surface as well as talking about why something's horrible. And that's just a known YouTube problem right now. So I understand why it's probably not like a super common discussion topic, but YouTube is not the only place for discussions to happen, especially with the shattering of Twitter. There are lots of places to start bringing up this discussion, I think. Fresher places like Mastodon, like Blue Sky, you know. Where you can bring up this discussion in a smaller space, but maybe that's good, you know, in a smaller space where maybe it's also a safer place where you're mostly just talking to friends. But I think it's an important discussion to like, you know, to like harp on it as much as I do, but I think it's something worth just checking in on. It's a great self-diagnostic to do, or even the simplest one is like, if you just pause at some point and go like, do I spend more hobby time being mad about my hobby than enjoying it? If the answer is you spend more time being mad, there's nothing wrong with you. It just means like your hobby's not functioning correctly, so something's got to change. And that's going to be a potentially lengthy self-diagnostic that is worth doing because you should be happy, you know, with your hobby. Sea Striker, are we live? No, this is a VOD, and it's cursed! Oh, now everyone's doing it. I'm on lag, but it was original when I did it. Anyway. I like talking about that stuff, so I can go aimless about this forever. Hopefully I get to do my next panel, because I was sitting there going, like, what should the next panel be? And then I was like, maybe the next panel should just be really just lean in on the one main thing. So the panel submission I did was about bringing joy to your collecting was the concept to present. And if it does go through, I'm gonna really like focus that one in on like just how do we have a good time, you know, and how do we have a good time. How do we avoid the pitfalls of trying to make our good time be everyone else's, you know, but because it's got to be about you. Will the Elden Ring streams resume with the DLC next time? I didn't get to Moog, so when I start Elden Ringing again, I got to work my way up to Moog, because I assume that's still where you got to go for the DLC. So Elden Ring I was going to try to do this week, and then I didn't. This week got kooky for mostly one reason, something very silly IRL. Contractor fun. But I want to get back into doing Elden Ring stuff. I mentioned earlier I'm suffering from the streamer's problem now, where I want to do Elden Ring, I want to do me and Aaron going through retro Transformers news, and I want to do Extra Life milestone catch up, and I don't know where to fit all that in. I've run into the streamer's problem. I want to do too much. I got too many things that I want to do. I have too much I want to say. Rotating schedule. That's my problem. I don't like having a schedule. That's my other big problem. Every day. We just go for it. Well, so part of my joke I said earlier was like my initial thought is I'll just do a stream every day. But then it's inevitably every stream's going to be 3 to 6 hours. I do like that for 72 hours in a row, and then I just die on the spot, right? Like, Scorp, we are still in 2003. But we made it out of the summer. We got into September. I'm gonna miss some stuff. Sea Striker, there was no, like, full-on review. I was just opening this toy up and messing with it a lot. So if you go back in the VOD, it still should be pretty fun, but it is mostly just, like, learning how this thing works. Also, you messaged some local media groups hoping to shadow with them. Hell yeah! Cypher, gone through many stages of collecting, not collecting, selling, collection. That's something I also want to see. Okay, this is actually a different tangent. That is like like personal histories are things I want more. I sound like I'm barking orders now. I want more people to detail their personal histories. I think like lengthy collecting histories are worth, as much as is comfortable, like documenting in whatever way is your comfortable way to document them. Because I think there's a lot that can be learned, as collecting continues to exist, whatever it's going to be. But also, I want more people to submit panels, because there are so many interesting fan-submitted panels that could be done. And I say this even though I really like it that when I submit like 2 panels at a TFCon, both get accepted, because I love doing panels. But I want more people to submit panels because I think they're so fun. I think they are so fun to do. And I love to help people do panels. I don't have to be on them. I can even just help you with, like, not being nervous. But in general, I think there's so much interesting collector... I'll use the word discourse. I don't know a better word for it. So much interesting collector discourse that can be done that isn't based around the news, but more about, like, lived experiences. And that doesn't have that... Usually when people talk about lived experiences in collecting, it's an older person talking about how everything was better, basically. And that's fine, but that's sort of like a very rote, very narrow personal nostalgia focus. And I think thinking about like collecting habits over the years, thinking about one's witnessing of collecting trends and how one processed those themselves, all could be interesting insight for people who are like looking in on collecting, kind of wanting to collect stuff and feeling freaked out at how expensive it is, basically. So like, what's the next thing you can do? Listen to collectors talk about collecting, because so much collecting media it's either reviews and or it's about what's coming out, and then like what happened. There's more though, and I would like to make more stuff, but also there's other people that could make stuff. So I just love for more people to talk about collecting in a fruitful, I'll say in a positive and fruitful way, and by positive I mean engaging and constructive. Not to say negativity can't be constructive, but I think when talking about like just sort of a genre like that, having an eager vibe like is going to do a lot more. Well, for me at least, but I think it'll do a lot more to not become part of the existing slurry, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, I still have a lot of hope about like just in general like what collecting is and will be, because I also know like, and I'm part of this. There is a sort of downer right now because everything's getting more expensive. We're kind of in a soft like recession. The toy industry is in a position where it is simply just doing the thing until it can't, as opposed to like kind of changing and shifting with what the times are, because they're still run by often elder folks at the top. So if you think about the good of the industry, the good of the franchise, it can be a little crushing sometimes, but like that's a phrase I also tried to train out of myself, the good of the industry, the good of the franchise. When it's your hobby, it's good to care about others, but you matter the most, if that makes sense. And not in the, like, give me what I want, but just in the, like, you coasting through and having a hobby, regardless of what happens to the industries around it, is more important than the survival, or at least the survival in their known forms of those industries, right? Cypher says the toy industry is also way too bloated. There are a lot of players in the toy industry. This is how I would take that. There's a lot of players in the toy industry. There's a number of players based on the idea that people still buy toys the way they did 20 years ago. That's kind of what I'm talking about, too. The toy industry very much just wants to do its thing, and there's a lot of demonstrable data that, like, you know, a lot of less kids buy toys, more adults buy toys. Producing toys out of plastic in factories overseas is getting more expensive. But the industry leader's solution is raise MSRP and continue. Raise MSRP and play to collectors more and continue. And that's fine in the short term, as most corporations will think in the short term. But the long term is what matters to the enthusiast. And so the enthusiast, I think, needs to detach the anchors a little bit from the wellness of the industry and worry more about the wellness of the enthusiast, if that makes any sense. Yeah, and yeah, quote, some of the big boys need to quote unquote sell toys in absolutely huge numbers, unsustainable numbers. And yeah, that's yeah. It's an industry built on the idea that kids buy toys like they did at the turn of the century, and that's one of the biggest problems with the toy industry. And so the trickle down is just in Transformers. The trickle down is, oh, they're making more retools, they're making more partials, and prices are going up. The greedy corp is trying to get me to pay more for the same or lesser toys. So it's a sort of a multi-part answer. Like A, yes, they are, because it's a massive American corp. But B, those decisions are not being made maliciously necessarily. They're being made out of a refusal to steer away from the course, right? Because those who benefit from not staying the course are like everyone 2 levels below the top down and everyone else. So that's why you have to eventually start divorcing a lot of like more thick anchors, like if you love Transformers, I think it's actually really cool that we can love the team working on them. And I think I've said this before, it's really important that we understand loving the team members and enjoying their enthusiasm doesn't mean we are bootlicking Hasbro Corporation. It means we like a couple of humans who work at that corporation. It doesn't mean that we also, and if you are, then this is, maybe another thing to think about. Doesn't mean that we have to love everything that is Hasbro. It just means you could like Mark, You could think Mark Clonis is a cool dude. I think he is a pretty cool dude. He's a very arty dude. He's very artist mind, and I think that's really neat to have in that position. But it doesn't mean like I love Transformers, the brand and the IP. It's like I like the folks who are working on it right now. But it doesn't mean like I'm gonna go to bat for everything. And also, tangenting off of that, going to bat for the corp. I've seen. I mean, this is also when I've gone on Twitter to repost my Toy Hacks code. So my For You tab showing me some of this stuff. So this is also like, the whatever Twitter is right now. But like, there are folks who are like, people who explain why this happens are the bootlickers going to bat for Hasbro and they need to stop. And it's like, I think that more people now are actually healthily doing this, but it bears repeating still. Explaining why the thing is doing something doesn't mean like also it's good it's doing it, So like, why are they doing so many partials? Well, here's why. They should stop. And it's like, I think it's fine. I don't see why they should stop. So you support it. It's like, well, yeah, I don't like intrinsically support the very practice of bleeding out a toy design as many times as possible. But I think if that is the order given from people who don't care, then the people who do care have found interesting ways to execute it. That and that. And yeah, like, prices going up. It's like, oh, if you complain about the prices going up, just suck it up. That's the industry. I think room needs to be left for people to complain about the prices going up so that we can start to granulate that conversation into what it actually is. It's like, yes, the prices are going up. Nobody on the Transformers team is excited about the prices going up. You can hear it if recordings still exist of any of the old Zoom calls with the team in the early 2020s. Nobody on the marketing side even was excited about any of the prices going up. Rachel and BMAC never went like, it's so hype that MSRP's gone up so we can push more value. Nobody ever said that. Rachel especially at one point went on that, like, I think this is when they revealed Arc, Autobot Arc. It was one of the Titans was revealed in tandem with an MSRP raise on the Titan class. And it, excuse me, it came up during one of the Zoom calls. And Rachel's response was, yeah, they didn't tell us about that while we were working on the package to present these toys. And it makes, to quote her, well, not to quote her, to paraphrase her, because I don't remember word for word, she basically said, it makes my job harder because my job is to get y'all excited about the new Titan class. It's harder for me to do that when I find out just before you do that the MSRP goes up. So she was basically, in the best way she could, explaining, like, marketing doesn't rub their hands together about MSRP going up. Marketing tends to go like, God damn it, now we gotta also work around the MSRP going up. So, like, the most, I guess what I'll say is, like, the most basic concept I try to get across for this stuff as, like, an opener is the Transformers team want to make cool toys, and they want to make cool toys, but they are not in charge of their budget nor their marching orders. And the marching orders aren't things as simple as, like, put Optimus Prime in or something. Like, that's part of marching orders is, like, recognizable characters. But the marching orders also could be, we need another capsule. We need 5 toys for Walmart. We need, X, Y, and Z. And also, you have to make them out of everything you have and this little bag of dimes for new parts. Which I think is what makes the partials thing, like, really kind of interesting to me. But then, to couch all of this in yet another self-response, because I'm like, what's his name from Hannibal? I'm like the serial killer empath, so I think about everyone, right? It's also completely valid to just say, like, as an end-level consumer, I don't really care about any of that, nor do I feel I'm supposed to. And it's like, well, A, you aren't supposed to. It shouldn't be your problem. B, kind of a bummer if you don't care about it, because I think it's kind of a fun part of being an enthusiast, but you don't have to. Which all then funnels down into everyone's going to have their own way of enjoying their hobby. And I think it's a really easy trap to fall into when you start to figure out how toys work to some degree as a layperson, as an outsider, to start hammering that into other people in, like, a really aggressive way. Because you'll catch some folks where it's like, this is helping, this is making them figure it out. But you're also going to, like, slam a hammer on the fingers of someone who's like, I only care about Transformers for about an hour a week, and I just don't like that my toys are more expensive. And it's kind of like, you got to be able to... That's, like, another level in figuring out how to, like, create just, like, a nicer environment. Anyway, yeah, it's a very, like, rambling conversation that one can get into. But, and again, it's all stuff that I think is, like, it's worth digging into with eagerness, I guess will be my... Not necessarily positivity, but it's worth digging into with eagerness versus anger, because anger has a low ceiling and is infectious. Eagerness has a higher ceiling, but everyone needs to put in a little something, Yeah, Ronnie Lane, like, that's kind of my take, is, like, I kind of enjoy watching how they work through some of those limitations. Oh yeah, Trent Salamander, you should eat dinner. It's important to eat food. I ate food today. just in case anyone's about to start yelling at me like that sometimes happens. I ate food today. It just was 4 hours ago. Scorp, one problem I have is trying to museum exhibit a toy rather than enjoy play. I kind of know what you mean. I went through that, I think. So, well, not that, but I went through something that I perceive as similar in the aughts and 2010s. And a lot of that is trying to figure out... It's a very personal thing, right? It's trying to figure out what makes me feel effortlessly happy is the first thing. What about toys do you not have to put any thought into but get excited about? And then, like, start from there, and then you sort of figure out, like, what makes, like what will then make the hobby, to use the phrase, in service of me, where I don't have to put in a lot of work, but I get so much more out of it. And then that's like one place to start. Hi there, Boingania. But yeah, like, and that, again, that's been part of the panel series. Is you know, why do we enjoy the toy was the original name, because it was like how do we make a big list of, like, what are subjective things that make people enjoy toys and why they stick around. Because also subjectivity is so important. Objectivity is a great word, but objectivity is often the enemy of enjoying a hobby. Oh no, Magmatron didn't kill anybody. It's Pride Month. We got scissoring going on down here. Because the Magmatron polycule, we were making sure that they could keep, you know, getting kissy kiss in all 3 modes. And they can. Yeah, I'm guarding Pride. I'm an ally. And yeah, like, if you go back to that original panel, like, the bullet points, I tried to get exhaustive, and then, like, some of the subsequent near versions in, like, 2018, I added bullets based on what crowd members said at some of the original ones. And there's so many subjective qualities that it's to me beautiful. It really, that's why I kept doing those panels. Is early on I learned so many reasons why people simply enjoy a hobby, and there's countless reasons, and they're all very personal, and none of them are mutually exclusive, but also none of them are intrinsically tied together. And recognizing that, I think, is really important. Doubly so if you make review media, in my opinion. Like, that's also part of why that panel exists, is I wanted to, like, think more about, like, how I could communicate in video reviews, because I don't want video reviews to be like these objective, quote-unquote objective gradings, when, to me, like, especially with toys, it just doesn't make sense. It just means your review will literally be silent to some people, if you lean too hard into that. And yeah, imaginative play is, like, a huge thing. Like, my version of it, I think, is all my Transformers headcanon. It's part of why, like, I kind of realized I don't think Lego clicks with me very well, because when I don't have instructions, I kind of don't know what to do. And when I don't, and because then the next thing I think, when I'm trying to, like, just mock stuff, is, like, I don't have access to literally every part. And then trying to do it digitally, I just lose interest because I don't have the physical parts. I had that problem with Glyos as well, where I was like, if I don't have literally every part available to me, I can't even begin to put things together. And so with Lego, I think I enjoyed building creatively designed stuff with someone else's instructions, but then I also didn't like keeping them afterwards because I didn't know what to do with them. So I eventually was like, I probably should just stop buying Lego and leave this to people who are enjoying it more than I am. And I think that's just, like, that's also just my brain, right? Like, I just said all of that, and yet I also did, like, a multi-hour stream trying to make a Junkosaurus build out of some whatever eyes are Junkions, right? So it's like, Lego is actually a really great example of just, like, how many different things you can get out of, now that they have more types of kits existing, how many different ways you can enjoy one thing, right? Like, now that they have made, soon-to-be, 2 Lego Transformers, right? Regardless of how the end result turned out, just take it as a base concept, an Optimus Prime and a Bumblebee who become a playable Transformer when you finish building them. That does attract me more. Not enough to, like, buy them because they're hella expensive, but, like, that does, like, hit me a bit more. Because my problem with Lego vehicles is, like, if I try to put them in a storage box, they shatter. Because they bang around in the box. And then, like, my brain gets too hung up on, like, oh, I gotta make sure I put all the pieces back in the right spots. It's silly. I think there's, if I ever just rip open all my Mixels, I bought nearly the entire line of Mixels up to a certain point, which is just lots of little pieces and joints. I probably would have fun with a ton of Mixels sorted into a tackle box, but I never tried it. I gotta blow my nose. I do have a Kleenex here. Oh, right. I'll lean off screen, pardon me. If you know anything about Mixels, here's what I'll ask, because this is another block of mine. Mixels aren't expensive, are they? Are they valuable? Because if they're valuable, I might just sell them. But if they're not valuable, then I'll crack them open. Ronnie Lane, you probably love Bionicle if you didn't try it in its time, but the aftermarket is something. Yeah, that kind of lent me away from Bionicle, because I was like, people love Bionicle so much, I would borderline be interloping. I almost bought a Bionicle once, which was the mermaid one. At some point, she had a version where she could, like, transform into literally a mermaid or something. Like, her legs could turn into a fish. That's all I remember. I almost bought that one. Okay, Mixels are still not valuable. Okay. Do you still collect Glyos? I wish I could, but Glyos is still... It ran into the thing that many independent toy companies ran into for me. A small indie in America, if they want to ship something to me with insurance, means the shipping crests borderline $40 plus. I don't buy enough Glyos to make it worth it. So I've not been able to... I really wanted to participate in the last drop too, but I was like, I just can't afford it. Not like the value prop just doesn't grok for me. If I can ever make it to a New York Comic Con again and there's an Onell booth or any of the other Glyos artists, I will buy from them there, but... and it's not their fault. The U.S. postal system has screwed them as far as, like, international stuff. Oh, hey, Chris Carnage. Yeah, I finished with Magmatron like an hour ago, but then I started talking about toy collecting philosophy. You know, it happens. Did you see the more recent Lego Galactic Explorer remake? I saw a lot of that new Lego space stuff, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I don't know where I'll put it. That's my main thing with Lego, is, like, I find Lego gets, like, shockingly big. Oh, my throat's so dry. Oh, I love them. Yeah, this is some peak Commander stuff. Like, this is just a good toy. The Polycule can make out in all 3 modes. We confirmed. I'm an ally. Happy Pride. I had an old Blacktron kit from when I was a kid that Cherry Bomb helped me complete and fix. So I have one of those, and I still like that. It's small. But yeah, like, I think I also overdid Lego a bit, because basically I tried to buy everything from the first Lego movie line, and I got close. And the things I'm missing are not the big things. So I have, like, a Benny's spaceship in a very large freezer bag next to my TV, and it's been there for years, because I don't know what to do with it. And it has very much, like, softly disintegrated into Lego parts. Scorpio got that spaceship. There's a cool spaceship set, but it's a perfect example of, like, I'm not into Lego enough to, like, put it somewhere, and I like it, so I don't want to just, like, shred it to pieces. So I don't know what to do about it. Take it easy, the Orange Man. So yeah, like, Lego is just, I kind of spectate now. Lego and, like, a lot of Bandai lines are my examples of how I learned how to spectate something that I think is really cool, but, like, doesn't really fit in with me, but it doesn't mean I have to hate it. I've gone on about that a million times. Like, I'm sure most of you have heard me go on about that idea, but, like, it's another thing a toy collector really needs to learn is, like, how to like something, or how to think something is cool without having to buy it, and simultaneously how to not feel like you have to figure out why you hate something in order to not buy it, basically. That said, I'm getting hungry. I should probably make rice and actually make the freezer ginger beef I have. But also, a little capstone on all this. The whole notion, right, that, like, oh, all these toy lines are so cool and I just can't collect them all. And I have to spectate some of them. To me, it's also, like, kind of a cool thing. Because it means, like, you know, somewhere down the road, like, 100 years into the future, when I'm finally bored of Transformers, I'll be like, it's time to finally take a look at those 30-minute robots. Because there's going to be a whole history of toys that was, like, in parallel to me that I watched, that I didn't, like, dive into. And then, you know, 100 years from now, I'll just go on eBay too, and I'll buy some with my creds, and get them, you know, printed inside my body. Oh yeah, all the like the current run on Masters, it's like they some maybe the code cracked is that Toy Guru isn't there. I don't know the whole story on that. Some kind of code cracked, and it was the moment they went, like, what if we add joints to the Motu original body? And then it was like, oh, this makes it into a really fun toy all of a sudden. What the hell? And that in Masterverse just, like, ballooning into, like, this whole thing. The way the Motu Origins Bucks became wrestlers and then Ninja Turtles is, like, to me, it's beautiful. It's like they accidentally created a perfect toy by trying to do something kind of basic and nostalgic. It's like, it turns out that old 80s He-Man body just needed a suite of joints, and it actually looks supernatural, like, not supernatural, it looks incredibly natural in, like, a ton of positions. That's, and also that they were able to, for a period at least, Motu Origins was coming, you could get new Motu Origins sometimes for, like, $10. And it was, like, such a good action figure. Like, it's Masterverse also, actually a pretty good, Masterverse is up there with, like, a lot of 6-inch-ish toy lines. It's such a shame that, like, it just kind of can't figure it out for the most part. Like, I'm happy it's still happening. And every Masterverse figure I have is gorgeous. I would like to eventually collect more of them. I hope it doesn't become hard. Apparently Turtles of Grayskull is now just an ongoing line, not a limited run. That's what happened. That happened to Motu Origins, then that happened to the Wrestlers of Grayskull, turning into just the Wrestler toy line, and now it's happening. I knew it was going to happen with Turtles of Grayskull. I knew it! Low key, though. Anyone ever gets a lead on a low price Masterverse Frank Langella Skeletor, please. I missed him. I never saw him in Canada. But yeah, if you've never messed with Motu Origins, don't don't, unless you're super attached to a character, don't pay like $30 for one. I think that would make them way worse in the personal experience. But if you can get Motu Origins for like between 10 to $25, depending, just like pick out one that looks cool. It doesn't have to be He-Man. It can be Ninja Turtle He-Man. It can be Wrestler He-Man, or it can just be old wrestlers. Because I saw the Ric Flair one, and I was like, this is astonishing how well this works. It's a real good pair of bucks, because it's just the male buck and the female buck. They're both good. Like, just try to get one of each and mess with them a bit. We don't got Masterverse clearance in Canada. I don't see it anywhere. And as far as I can tell, too many people have good taste, so Langella Skeletor never went on clearance. Friggin' unfair universe I live in. I'm gonna turn the music on to force myself to get ready to eat beef. It's a sentence I just said. Canada sounds unfair. Man. Anyway. Please wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. Hang on, move this friggin' thing out of the way. Thanks to everyone who came by and hung out and etc. Always a fun time. I miss doing this for the kind of week and a bit that I didn't. So that's why I got right back into it. I'm probably not going to do one tomorrow, but I'm probably going to stuff one into the weekend somewhere and then start figuring some stuff out. Anyway, make sure to tell your friends that these streams are fun and that they can watch VODs of them, because I think we have fun times here, and I think it would be fun to share that with more people. And with that said, I'll catch y'all later. Take it easy. Have a happy Friday! Eat those you love. Love those you eat. Those love eat you. You love to eat them. You feel guilty with every bite, but it's ethical. You aren't wrong. You're correct. You're very correct.
Let them come.